about to happen. Hello everyone. Hi VP. Sorry, we were distracted looking at baby young photos of us, and Hannah just took the biscuit with her looking like Velma. But in fact, Hannah is so much a Velma. That's her new name.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm still mad because I was telling them about an old photo of me and I can't find it. But I am finding a lot of, I'm in my Instagram archives and I'm finding a lot of things I forgot existed, which, yikes. Anyway, what a shock.
I thought, start with a bang. But yeah, honestly, the thing is, I had a bob from age 5 until about 12 years old. So most of the photos of me, and I've always had glasses as well. So I've always, I just watched the cat behind you. I've always been a Velma.
There's a cat, people. Sorry, Ali, I'm putting you front and center because there's a cat on your bookshelf.
He likes being on there. That's his desk. I don't get to use that one, okay?
10 minutes to go. Hello. Hi. Katie, I have to apologize right now because I've just put the rats away, which will answer your question. I don't know. I just feel weird. I think my KFC may not have been cooked properly. And I ate really fast. And I got my glasses tightened because they've been falling off my face. And anyone who wears glasses will know when you get new glasses, your eyes are like really weird and you're like, what's happening? And I think I'm just having like a complete brain malfunction because I'm so tired and my mind just can't deal with it. So I've been like dizzy, feeling a bit sick, just a bit, I tried to take a nap and I just wasn't having it. And I was like, I want to sprint. So, and also I had Ali down for my sprint tonight. And I was like, I will die before we pass up on this. So we'll see how we go. Robbie has also been given the link, but he hasn't said anything to me. So whether he shows up is another question. Know that he'll show up and I'll be like, yeah, I'm done now, bye. As I said, hiding because I can't keep track of time. Always laughter straight away. Hello, Jamie. Pris is here. Oh my god, why? Oh no, this is where things go mad. Pris always starts. Like, you think I start chaos? Pris is something else. I can't tell. I am really bad at sprints at the minute, Pris. This is like my second official sprint. But I have done like a couple. But then as my name says, I am dying tonight. So either there's gonna just be like constant sprint, or I'm gonna be like, we're doing 10 minutes and then I'm dying then. No dying, like I will try. Hero of Ages. I feel like I should know what that book is. I want to. Oh, Mistborn. Yeah, I knew it was going to be something. Oh, is that the Courtney Summers project? Is that out already, or is it a different project? Or do you have an arc, or like, what's going on here? Sounds like it'll be that one. Released in February. Maybe you must have an arc, or you have a different book. I mean, Alien Remy's here, if that counts.
I'm still not over that.
Alien Remy, whose head can...
Don't start that again.
Wait, there we go.
And he's got his jumper on.
Oh my god, that's horrible. I love that so much.
He has his little spot on my desk and he just stays there.
That is too cute.
We will die together. Yes. Always.
Can we not, with the death pact this early in a sprint? Can we at least wait until we're 10 minutes in?
Yeah, like, I said I'm dying, not actually going to die. Like, I'm just... I'll change it to Emma is recovering, will I?
There we go.
Emma is not dying, in capitals.
Only dying a little bit.
Just a little death.
Emma, no death, Vela.
I love that. Leave that one. And leave that one forever.
No snippy sniffs on Emma's live. You're destroyed. How do I ban people? No, I'm kidding. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want that book so bad. Alien Rat's count. Well, that's fine. Alien Rat is up there. Sneak's been a weirdo at the minute. And the last couple of days, she just sits at this one random spot in the cage, typically where I put the food, and I'm like, you're not getting fed any earlier. Like, are you okay? Like, why? And it's like she's always staring straight at me, and I'm like, you're the one that doesn't want to come out. Like, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Dog. Yeah.
There you go.
Tiny
Like,
dog.
no rats, but we got a doge. So sweet. I have no energy for chaos. Good, because I too do not, like, I also should really go and get more water, but like I just don't want to move from this spot. Like, that's why my lighting shit, because I was like, I'm turning the big light off so that as soon as I decide I'm done, I don't have to move.
Have you seen all those like TikTok lives where it's literally just people recording themselves sleeping?
Oh my god. I should, that might happen. Also, he made it, but I don't like that.
Yeah!
I had to make my bed, sorry.
We were literally, I was just saying that I didn't know if you were like gonna show up, and I was like, no doubt he's gonna show up later, when I'm like, no, we've done one sprint and I'm dead.
No, I was like, it's not happening. I'm getting here for the reading.
Well, we're gonna try. If nothing else, I will listen to an audiobook, but there will be reading time allocated. Partially dying. A little death is good though, nobody dies from it. What are we all reading? So I'm going to attempt to keep reading Daughter of the Burning City because I'm really enjoying it so far. Robbie will probably want an update. I'm about 180 pages in, so I'm getting there. But I don't know if my eyes are functioning. So as I say, I got my glasses tightened and now I'm suddenly like, what's going on? So it may be audiobook, which I'm listening to Orphan X. I ain't vibing with it, but I'm just going to put up with it.
And what are you reading, Hannah?
So I am like...
This is Velma.
Velma, yeah.
Velma.
Okay, Robbie missed a bit where I showed a very embarrassing photo, so I'll try and get that back up in a sec. But basically, I am 10 books behind on my reading challenge this year, so I just have loads of graphic novels to read.
Love that.
Love that.
Gonna try and
Ellie,
catch
what
up.
are you reading?
I'm reading Legendborn, which I'm
Oh
only...
yeah, you told me.
Yeah, like...
I was genuinely asking you because I forgot.
I can never remember anything ever, so it's okay.
You have an excuse. You have baby brain. And Robbie, what are you reading?
I'm reading an arc of Here the Whole Time by Victor Martins because my blog tour date is tomorrow.
Ooh.
So it has to be read today. It's really short. It's only like 200 and something pages.
I have We Played with Fire that I've been reading since the 1st of January on my Kindle. I have to do my review on the 3rd of February, and I'm like, I'm really not doing well with ebooks at the minute. We won't ban you. Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Katie.
My gran is at almost 70,000 views on my TikTok.
Iconic.
What are we at? Let me find out. 69 point... Oh no, we're at 70.2k now. We're gonna hit 100,000.
That's nuts.
It's only been 2 days.
I told you, she's going to get an invite onto the Ellen show.
I fucking hope so. Women can pay me, like, she can donate, like, she always goes like, oh, here's, like, stuff. I'll be like, thanks. Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Jamie.
We just answered that. I don't know if you missed it or... but...
And I think the comment was posted before you got, like, as you were reading it out.
Yeah, probably.
It popped up at the same time.
But considering she has been here since before the sprint started, we've mentioned the books. We have Ages, Loving It, One Week's in Progress tonight, so I can finish it tomorrow. I'm assuming that as a response to Chris. Hannah, that is amazing. LMAO. Oh gosh, well, you're kind of like a reading machine, so I think you'll crush it. Yeah, I go through stages where I get on really well with audio. Like December, I read like 30 books, and I was like, what the fuck? I know, I think I read 31. I was like, how did I read a book a day? And I was like, oh, I listened to a shitload of audiobooks. But there's times like, there's so many books that I think back and I'm like, oh, I've read that, but I listened to the audiobook. Like, I was talking to Karis today about The Diviners, and I was like, all I remember is some sort of like apartment or hotel and a museum. And she was like, those are literally the least important things in that book. And I was like, well, that's all I remember. I get a parcel and my grand's like, what's that? And I'm like, a book? In fact, I get parcels that aren't books, and she's like, what is it? Is it a book? And I'm like, Gran, it's like this size. It's not a book. No, she will not buy me books. No. You somehow, you want to be involved in my sprints, and then you don't even know when they are. It's unacceptable. Kirsty Madden, hello everyone.
Yes, Akama.
Oh no, no.
Are you excited for Akate?
The dog is with me. Like, no.
No, we've got everyone's excited for the new one.
Nina,
I'm excited. I'm
Nina,
excited.
I will block you. I mean, I won't. But look at look at my name, Nina. Look at it. Just be grateful I'm here. Tell her it's not.
Oh God, imagine.
No, because my gran is the type of person who would want to see and would like ask me what they were like. Like, genuinely, she is no shame. So absolutely not. I would start getting stories I didn't want to hear.
I think we have the same nan.
My mother, I got a package and she accidentally opened it when I was living with her, and it was a dog collar for my dog. And she's like, oh, this looks like it'll be fun for you and your boyfriend. And I was like,
unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Oh God. I know more about your mother than I ever wanted to.
Oh, trust me, she'll tell you things that you don't want to know. Like, she's just like that.
Oh.
Hello. This is only the second week, so like it's not surprising that people aren't aware of the schedule yet. Katie and Emma and Lies for It's will be chaos, good chaos though. Fair enough. Okay, sure thing, Nina, Nene. Listen, I just went with it. I was like, I'm not even going to overthink it. I know what this is. I know what it is. Hello. God, VP is... I'm forever... Like, I will never not call you VP. Like, it's just ingrained in me to be like...
Literally. Yes, Akasif!
I don't appreciate all this fairy smut discussion on my channel.
It's
Do you not
amazing,
like fairies
Emma.
then, Emma? Oh, I didn't realise.
I was like, no, and I was like, oh yeah, Hannah knows.
So Emma signed up for the subscription box that I set up, right? And you get to like write down what things you like and what things you don't like, so that I can try and make it like a really personal recommendation. And yes, it does help that I also have a list of every book that Emma owns, because she's already forwarded me her spreadsheet, which is going to make sorting out her box the easiest of all my clients. Love that. And one of the things she specifically said, she's like, I like crime, I like thriller, but none of that fairy smut, not interested. And like, I was just reading it. Like, it comes out as like a spreadsheet for me, and it was just fantastic. It made my evening.
Oh, Emma.
I don't like the cruel, except it was really funny because Kevin, Irish Reader on TikTok, had that thing that was like, tell me like your least favorite book without naming your least favorite book. And I said something along the lines of, like fairies. I was like fucking fairies, and I think someone has a tail. And then I was like, wait, that might be both books. Then I was like, it counts because I hate them both. And he was like, oh my god, not the Cruel Prince and Akatar. And I was like, It's like, yes, those. It's also reminded me I need to. I'm gonna link that tweet when I put down my co-host. People can go into the subscription, the description, and buy the subscription. That's
I'm gonna have to get a subscription. It's a good thing that I just entered all my books into a spreadsheet and stayed up till 4 a.m. the other night. I have 334 books, so I'm gonna need to send you my list.
I'm happy to take it. And because like
what I have, but here, but no, that's more than what I have here, but less than what I have at my mum's. So you're fine.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's great. Everyone that signed up so far has got a good read.
I'm trying to
I can't help it. I see a book, it's going cheap, I need to have it.
That's fair. That's a fair response.
I mean, books don't expire like food.
I have spent £123.45 today, almost exclusively on books. And the reason I know it's that much is because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I was like, can't do that if I tried. And I was like, what have I bought? And I was like, oh yeah, it's like a subscription. I bought a book on Amazon. I bought like 10 books on Depop. One of my eBay orders is like paid. I was like, oh dear.
And then your exclusive merch.
Oh my god, yes, KFC does merch in the UK at least. And I was like, need that. Even though I think they food poisoned me today, it's fine. Still love Why? Oh, because that's all I knew you as for so long. So I was like VP, and I was like, "What's your name?" And then it was suddenly Molly's like, "The cat's called Rosie," and you were like, "Oh my god!" And I'm still like, "Nah, it's VP." I have the right to tell no one off. Like, I mean, it depends what you bring up. You bring up fucking fairy books, you're probably gonna get a row. But like,
literally, Emma doesn't row people; she just removes you from the conversation.
Demonstration. Oh my god, but Eevee is the best Pokemon. I love Eevee. Oh my god, that's your name. That's your new name. It says Eevee.
Literally, Eevee.
The Assassin's
Yes, Assassin's Blade, more Sarah J. Maas.
Winter Key. My colleague at work is a show VP. What was that laugh?
Everyone is just coming at Emma with the Sarah J. Maas in the comments.
I know, like you're on the wrong channel for this. This is not the brand. Oh no. Oh my god, your cat is now having a whose cat was that? Was it Hannah or Ali's?
That's mine. He's very talkative. He just walks around the house meowing at
what's her name?
That's what mine does.
His name is Reese from Avatar.
Oh
that's amazing. I love that.
Me too.
That was perfect.
That's amazing.
Okay, over 2,000 books. Wow.
I approve of that. I just want to know, where are they stored?
Yeah, I need to understand.
Like, did you make a bookcase out of the books? That would be epic.
I think I can't actually call. I always have to say Kit Kat. You know when you have those people that you just always refer to? I'm like, it took me so long to call Hannah, and not Ladette M. Like I was always just like, I mean, it's people. There's some people I know that will call me Emma Novella. I'm like, why am I calling you Emma Novella? It's Emma.
Yeah, but when you sing it and you save it like that. I mean, my favorite thing is Americans who weren't familiar with like the fact that it's lad as in ladette, and would say Ladette M in this really lovely French accent, and I was like, I'll take it. That's not what it means.
You're like, no, I'm a lad.
Lad.
I literally just did my spreadsheet a few days ago, and I'm already like, I think I've forgotten some of them.
What free did you get? Like, what free books did you get today? I always want to know what people buy to encourage me to buy more.
Katie, no, because it's already past 20 past. I'm just trying to catch up with comments. You go, Katie. Katie, you're asking for a book. Katie's only here for rats anyway, so. That's not even my laugh. That's the thing, Evie. Like, I don't know what that was. really loud meowing. In a book shed.
Wow. Incredible.
Let's call me Kit Kat. Cool. So I'm caught up with comics. I'm being really lazy today because when I was on Tasman's, like watching Tasman's Prince the other day, she was like, I don't like it when people put people really small. And I was like, do you know what? I was like, my MacBook is old for MacBook standards. And it can't handle streaming and sharing a screen. So I'm going to do this thing where we go sprint until whatever time, and then I just tab, like thingy it, and then, it'll make sense in a minute. So how long do we want to sprint for?
Should we do 20 minutes, seeing as you're not feeling amazing? See how we get on?
I'm slowly getting there. I might go down and get more water. I think that will help. I just needed the energy of you guys, and now I'm like,
I've got to decide which one I'm starting now.
What's your options?
Okay, so we've got Han Solo, which I've had forever, Lumberjanes Volume 1, Misfit City Volume 2, Saga Volume 6, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Volume 1 and 2, Fence Volume 1, Monstrous Volume 1, and Through the Woods.
Fence.
I like the cover of Through the Woods. I don't even know what it is, but it's pretty.
It's like a gothic-y, spooky ghost story, basically.
Well, then I vote that one.
My first thought was Lumberjanes, and then you kept bringing up other series that you're like in the middle of.
Yeah, I guess I should go for one song, actually.
I would say either Through the Woods because it's a standalone, or continue a series. I've read both Lumberjanes and Fence was good, but like I feel like not much really happened. Whereas Lumberjanes, it's like a typical graphic novel where it's like the comics all bound together, so you kind of get your little stories.
Fence is amazing. Fence is in my top 10 of 2020.
Yeah, but how many volumes have you read?
I loved the first one, and I loved the second and the third and the fourth.
That's what I mean. Like, I think the first one on its own is a bit not
for me. There's a lot of exposition because obviously you're finding out why he's going there. So but I would say, because I've read quite a few on that list, Fence would be the quickest read.
It would be the quickest read, but you're probably going to be a bit annoyed that you've not got the. Well, I'm assuming. Do you have the other volumes?
No. So Keris gifted this me for Christmas, so I can get the others, but that's fine. I really should continue these though. So I think I'm going to go with these three and then do them in that order.
Yeah.
We'll see. I won't be able to read all of those in 20 minutes, but that's the order.
If you did, I would be so impressed.
Like, bam!
I'll be like, fuck.
But then Hannah, you need to get my favorite graphic novel series,
which is
The Backstagers.
Okay, I'm making a note.
I just bought Volume 1 and 2 today. I've had NetGalley.
No one talks about it.
Right, I got NetGalley arcs, but like the files didn't load properly. And I keep like putting it off, and then the publisher eventually got back to me and were like, oh, the files were wrong, like sorry, here's an updated one. And I was like, this is like 6 months after publication now, like I don't have time. And I don't like reading graphic novels like on my laptop anyway, so someone had 2 on Depop and a French manga. And I was like, fuck it. And a little mini Buzz Lightyear alien. So I was like, I want that. And Camp Spirit graphic novel. So that was like what I bought today.
Nice.
Alongside the copies of the Diviners.
It's just, honestly, it's my favourite graphic novel, The Backstagers. It's so good.
I mean, it's such an us thing though, like theatre.
It's a theatre thing, it's queer, and it's a portal world.
Amazing. It's the company that I use to get books through my business has volume 1, 2, and 3. So
yay, that's all that's out at the moment. I think they're doing, instead of doing volume 4, they're doing another version of it.
Not my husband texting me in the middle of this to ask me what all the book charges are on the account. He's like, well, because he sees all the Amazon ones, but he's like, what is this Silver Tongue Creative? And I was like, more books.
This guy.
Silver Tongue Creative is Waypoint, so like it's not books.
Except that on the PayPal, they're under the same thing. So
I just told my husband, I told him that Hannah's my best friend, and I had to. I was like, Hannah's my best friend now. So
that's fine. I'll take it. Thank you.
6 books by the end of the week. Oh,
I guess now would be a bad time to say that I've got both those dragon books. I need to finish.
Well, and I can't make a decision, so I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I need both of them because
what dragon books? I'll pick. I love a dragon book. I love a dragon.
I want more dragon books.
Also,
I have a lot.
Not me just finding out that you two actually know each other already. I'm like, wait, you've spoken with Hannah before? Oh, this is good. Cool.
Oh yeah, all the time.
I don't pay attention to what other people do on Twitter.
We're besties. Come on. So there was the Darwin's Dragon one that I showed you last time. This is the one that Ali saw in the live stream and was like, yes. I then assumed she meant Dragon Mountain.
Oh well, that one's that's pretty. You just have to send me both of them. I can't look at that. I can't.
You're already sending it over at some point. You may as well.
Yeah, and I've heard amazing things about Dragon Mountain. Like I know Waterstones when it was last open in the UK were really heavily endorsing that book as well.
Yeah.
There's 334 books, but there's like one dragon book, and I'm like,
outrageous.
You need some variation.
Middle grades anyway. You'll burn through these so quick.
Exactly.
So, perfect.
Rocket Reed's got Winterkeep, Bonecryer's Moon, and Ninth House today.
So the Graceling is something I've been wanting to read for ages. Bonecryer's Moon, it was such a hyped book last year. I feel like everyone was talking about it.
I DNF'd it.
It was a very meh book. The highest I've seen people give it, apart from the people who really stan it, is a 3-star, which is what I gave it. Did I still order the sequel? Yes, because it's a duology. And I was like, I need to know what happened. It's going to annoy me. And Ninth House is one of those, people either give it a 1 or a 5.
I loved it, and I love gothic fiction, so...
I've just heard it's got trigger warnings galore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like,
nothing was kind of like excrement.
Huh?
Excrement?
I heard something about excrement, or is it
Yeah, a guy literally eats poo out of a toilet.
Thank you, Hannah. I was like, I think that's what excrement is, but I want someone to clarify for me.
I hadn't seen that tweet, so I was like, it would have been so funny going into that and being like, what? But at the same time, I'm like, glad
I've told everyone that I recommend it to, I'm like, it's great, but in the way that American Horror Story has some really dark, brutal moments.
Okay.
So does Ninth
You've sold
House.
it to me on American Horror Story. I've owned it for ages, and it's the only Lee Bardugo book I've not read because I heard about the ghost scene.
Right. Yeah, that's fair enough. When did the sprint's over?
No, I haven't bought StreamYard yet, but I'm gonna have to. I think I don't know. Like I'm gonna actually just have a look and find out. Like I don't even know how to find out like how many hours I have left.
Oh, is that how you get it? You get like a certain amount of hours when you get a
hours on
freebie?
the floor. Maybe click upgrade. Will it tell me? No.
I don't know how StreamYard works. I'm only ever a guest.
It's the best way to be because you've got no obligations. You can just be like,
Literally, I ain't giving you my details.
I genuinely. Oh wait, I have used 8 hours and 34 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Okay.
So yeah. I contemplated it because it would get rid of the little StreamYard thing. Then you can do like a little bit more like design, and you can have up to 10 people. But yeah, I struggle enough finding people to join. I say struggle enough. I have had a couple people alongside Ali being like, "Hey, you can ask me," and I'm like, "That's good. I'm glad I know."
I mean, I was going to say Buffy, but then I'm biased.
That's why I bought it. I literally was like scrolling through, and I'd seen that the company had graphic novels before, and I love graphic novels are the thing that I kind of like rediscovered my love for in 2020. And the moment I spotted Buffy, I was like, "Oh, volume 1 and 2, yes, please."
Right. I will say to you though, Hannah, don't buy 3 though. You have to, because I read 3 straight away afterwards. You have to read a special edition graphic novel before you get into it because everything's missed out. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Lucky I've watched the show and I'm like, okay. But no, they were like, apparently it's like one that has like a little pentagram on the spine. I saw it in Waterstones and was like, oh, maybe you don't need to read this one. But I was like, oh, you do need to read this one. But I really, really like that it's a 21st century adaptation of it. Like Buffy having a smartphone is wild.
Yeah, bizarre.
Corey loves the Backstagers.
Yes, thank you, Corey.
Just tell him I made you do it. I'm going to be about the books. Not me having to... See, everyone says not me. Not me having to walk the dog again when you're about to sprint, damn it. I mean, at this rate, you'll probably be back.
By the time we started.
And they're actually trying reading sprint. Bone Crashing was hit or miss. Parts I didn't listen to the audiobook, want to do a reread. Yes, I'm going to buy the entire StreamYard company, and I'm going to make it that I am the only person who can do reading sprints, so that everyone has to swap to my channel, and I become the most successful, rather than it being me doing what everyone else is doing. Yeah, they email you when you're running low, but apparently if you're already streaming when you run out, it still keeps going. So technically you could end a stream when you have a minute left and then stream for 5 hours on your next stream and it doesn't cut you off.
Ooh.
It just
interesting.
Yeah, you get 20 hours. Yes, I know you're here. Oh.
Yes!
And on that note, we're going to sprint soon because she's going to be a
She's already called us out. She's already called us out.
Yes, I believe I've been food. Look at my name. Just be amazed that I'm here. That better not be you saying you agree with Karis's tweet message because that's right above you. Because otherwise, you ain't going to be invited. Back on sprint needs to be half an hour. Cool. So, on that note, let us get back in time for Rosie coming back. So, death. I approve.
Has Karis become one of the Scythes now?
Yeah.
Karis has turned from sweet cinnamon bun little Welsh reader into doom. And I'm just I'm scared of her now.
I approve that.
What, death? Or Karis?
I mean, if whatever Karis wants to do, I approve. Whatever vibe you want to play with her, you do it.
Okay, so as I said, I can't be arsed doing the screen share because laptop's not dealing with it and it takes too much time. And I'm lazy. So we are Cat! Oh,
He's so little, he never grew. He's full grown. This is it. This is the cat.
Yay.
Meow. Excuse you, sir.
your cat right now. I will kill you.
What? Only you're allowed to speak?
It's I have very different opinions on books. The Traveling Cat Chronicles, fantastic. The cat's voice was perfect. Doom, it's a mood. Katie's happy because there's been cats, and what a shock. The Kit Kat is happy that there's Kit Kat. Okay, so Hannah, you have picked your graphic novel? Sorry, Velma? Wait, Karis, have you seen Velma?
Right. I can feel the tension. Hello,
That
me
is,
as a child.
that is a mood.
The thing is, though, they literally had this on my rugby club's website. They were like, we're not going to put your actual face, we'll put your face, and then we'll put you right next to Velma. See, literally, it was yeah, she played for the Phillies, she was a prop, and that's the photo they went for. Embarrassing.
Happy as a Kit Kat. I bet you fucking Karis has disappeared now.
Probably. She's got work to do.
Well, I suppose. I was going to say it's 7:30, but that's probably round about teacher finishing up time.
Yeah.
So, not that she's a real teacher, but that's just too mean. So,
Nasty.
I think student teaching is probably way harder than actual teaching in a way. I'm trying to give her a minute to respond to Velma, but I think she has actually succumbed. Okay, well, we are going to sprint until the o'clock. And I say sprint, you're going to sprint or do whatever. I'm going to add information to the description. So if anyone wants, in about like 5 minutes, if anyone wants to subscribe to Waypoint subscription box, there is two. One has an extra surprise book, which is very exciting. If you refresh the page, it'll be in the description. But as I say, give it a couple of minutes because I haven't done it yet. Been busy. But yeah, I'm going to mute. We're all going to mute and we're all going to read. So see you in about 25 minutes. Beep, beep. I was gonna get like a timer sound, and I was like, I'll just do it myself. I was gonna go, but I was like, that's a bit rude.
What a classy little alarm you were too.
I need a good alarm. I know that drama skill came in so handy. How did you do? I did 8 pages, fixed Robbie's link because apparently your name's Jamie now. But wasn't working, and then found out that I wasn't subscribed to Ali, so I fixed that as well while I was at it. So I got 8 pages, but I was like that, like I was really enjoying it, and then I kept being like, "Wait, how long have I got?" Okay, I was like I was getting really into it, so I like kept like checking. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I want to keep going." So when that chapter ended, I was like,
"Oh, that's fair
"How
enough."
much
I did
novel
86.
did you get?"
I did 86.
Nice. Everyone else? Got a cute kiddo appear. I was very busy.
Yeah.
Excited.
I read 4 pages because the kiddo woke up from his nap.
I was like, those cheeks. Literally, my cousin had a baby at the beginning of December, and since then I've been like, I want one. And she's like, you're welcome to come look after her. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I mean, like, I'll be like, oh, I don't know if she's like needing her nappy, her nappy change. And like, I'm the first to go woof of a sniff. I'm like, I'll sort her. Everyone's like, why are you so keen? And I'm like, I don't know.
Out of the face.
Literally, like I always feel really bad, but I just don't have like a maternal bone in my body, like at all. And the moment people are like, "Yeah, kids," I'm like,
See, I was so you for like so long, and then just like obviously the last year it's kind of crept up, and then as soon as I met Lucy, I was like, I understand. But I still understand. Like, I'm not like, oh, I need to, and if I don't have kids, like my life is ruined. But I am like, wouldn't be mad.
"Oh,
We want 5. So
Oh, well, this is only number 2, isn't it?
that I'm pregnant with right now, yeah.
Do you know what you're having?
A boy, another boy. We're gonna have 2 boys who are under 2, and I might literally explode.
That might end up being the same as Zoe if this one turns out to be a boy. Because obviously she's only like 14 weeks just now, so she doesn't know. I'm like, 2 kids under 2, regardless. But if they're stereotypical boys, it might put me off my broodiness. How did you do, Robbie?
I read 34 pages and I did 2 minutes of editing
nice,
Ooh.
and watched 5 minutes of Drag Race.
nice."
So that was approximately like 10 minutes of reading. Sorry,
Yeah.
the rats are making the weirdest squeaking noise right now. Gals, you good?
Literally. The
That's
video's
actually taken with us as well. She just goes, "Gals, are
Gals.
you okay?"
Yeah, my video's just taking so long to edit because I'm adding in so many pie charts and stuff because it's finally doing my 2020 stats and everyone's favorite, the worst and best books.
Oh,
Love that.
worst books.
Oh, Emma, don't watch it.
Don't
You'll be
say
angry.
that. For fuck's sake.
Agatha! Literally, I'm just expecting all of Ali's kids to be named after people in Sarah J. Maas's book.
Oh my god.
No.
Literally, just only book character names are allowed.
I could not name a human after a book character.
I'm just trying to think. The cat's called Reese. And that's so like so your son, it was supposed to be your current son, that's supposed to you're gonna get rid of him. That's Tamlin.
No.
You
No
can't
one should be called Tamlin.
No, outrageous.
The only one I can remember.
Yeah, the
Literally,
worst.
that's how you can tell any person who only ever read ACOTAR because they're the
No, I
only
read
people
the
who ever
second
say
one as well.
no, but I'm saying those are the people who go, I love Tamlin. You clearly did not carry on with the series.
No, he gave me bad vibes even in the first one. And like,
Oh,
admittedly,
same.
I read it deciding that like I was reading it just because I wanted to get to the second one, but I had already read like 4 Beauty and the Beast retellings by the time I got to that, and I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough. And then I read him, I was just like, he's the worst of all these Beauty and the Beast retellings.
He took the wrong sister, literally. If he had taken Elaine, him and Elaine would have been very happy.
Yeah.
She would have been happy in that little garden of flowers,
so
running around in the wheat.
No, I just feel like everything he did felt really shady. And like, even right from the start, when like they do their little like agreement thing, I was just like, no, like there are so many red flags here. Ding 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 ding. Agreed.
That was about not Tamlin.
His name is Archer.
Emma's like, all this bloody Sarah J. Maas content.
What was it?
His name is Archer, and the guy in my belly, his name is Leon.
I love Archer.
Archer and Leon.
To be fair, Archer is technically a character from Throne of Glass.
I've never read Throne of Glass.
There's a character called Archer in Throne of Glass.
Well, I named my son after Sarah J. Maas.
And he is one of my favourite characters, and everyone forgets who he is because he's such a small character.
See, if Sarah J. Maas writes a book and there's a Leon, I'm just honestly confirmed Ali is Sarah J. Maas. Sarah,
I do not have the patience to write anything, okay? Like, I want to write a novel, but I guarantee it will never happen.
You can do it. It's not as difficult as everyone thinks it is.
It's just difficult making it good.
Yeah. It's the editing process afterwards.
Yeah. Right, to sidetrack as we usually do. This is what gets me with like publishing and stuff. It's like I can write a first draft like that. Well, I used to. Can't type very well now, but I can get a first draft out. But the editing process confuses me. I don't understand it and I get confused. And what pisses me off is you have authors who are like established and they can go to their like agent or their publishing house and be like, so I have an idea and it's basically XYZ. And it's like the most basic idea. And it's like, yes, we're going to buy that for like $1 million. And they'll get the help. They write a draft and they'll get help to edit. We don't.
Well, it's not quite like that, but I can see what you're saying.
I mean, that said, one of my friends is an author, and I know for a fact that she does like the first draft and sends it off to them. Because I was sitting at a fucking launch event, and one of the people that works on the books was like, oh, it's amazing we get to work with her from like so early on in the book because we get to like help edit from the first draft and like guide it. And I was like, you fucking rejected my manuscript because of that exact reason.
That's not a good thing. Though. Like, the thing is, so like basically, writing a book is a lot like being an actor in the fact that you would have an agent to manage you. Mm-hmm. And the first time when you submit your debut novel, you will have the full thing edited to within an inch of its life by you, your agent, and an editor that your agent thinks you will work really well with. Yeah. And then when you actually sell it to a publisher, they will bring in a second editor to kind of reshape it all. So when you've sold like a couple of books, they skip, your agent just makes sure you're getting paid what you're due. The editor doesn't get a look in because they're already working on new authors, and the second editor is able to like help you structure it. So the idea being that if you're going to write 3 or 4 books, there's going to be something similar about them because the way you're writing anyway. Yeah. Like there's no writer that writes like 60 or 50 books that doesn't have like a key theme in all of them and a key writing style. The editor then can basically be like, yeah, cool, write 500 words, and then I'll make sure as you go that it's right. And it's a case of you can go to your publisher and be like, look, and also like your publisher will probably buy your books in advance of. So you can take your debut novel and they'll go, cool, we will pay you £10,000, but we want 2 novels out of you, not 1. So then you write the second one. Technically, you've already sold it. And it might do even better than the first one. So then you go with the third one. You say, right, my idea for it is this. And they'll either say yes or no. If they are willing to pay for it, then you can like take it on. But there's so much less control. And it's why authors really, really struggle to write their second and third books, because the pressure is there and the editor is there to be like, and that editor isn't just someone who is just trying to help you write a good book. They're helping you sell their book, because behind them, they've got the commissioning editor saying, we've spent a lot of money on this. It better be good.
Yeah, I think like the thing with me, like I think for specifically neurodiverse writers, what they need is like not necessarily like, oh yeah, we're going to give you this advance and publish this book, but I do think there should be some sort of situation in place where they say, we're going to give you £1,000 to give us the rights to this book, to give us first dibs at the rights to this book, and we will like they're just, I don't know, even not even publishing houses, but like editing is a very inaccessible thing. Obviously, I know being an editor is incredibly hard, but there's just not really enough out there. Like, because obviously the majority of editors are going to like work a neurotypical way, so they could sit and be like, oh well, we think this, and it's like, no, but I don't understand. So there's nothing really there, and I think that's the thing that publishers don't tend to understand. Is like they'll read a book by a neurodiverse author who's maybe went through editing themselves, and there'll be like little things that they're not vibing with, and instead of going, maybe we need to take a minute to like work on this and make it what it could be and like help them understand. Like I get it because it's money and they don't have the time, but I don't know.
I think it's down to finding the right editor then, isn't it? Because if you're going to find one that's willing to work with you, there are ones. But the problem is, with editors, it depends on what they're attached to. If they're freelance editors, you can almost dictate what it is you need from them. Whereas if they're part of either an agency or a publishing house, they're dictated by other things. Yeah. You are not solely paying their salary, and they will have certain targets they need to hit. And it's certainly a case with editors. They're seeing so many manuscripts at once. They tend to edit very similar things. They don't have to turn themselves onto a different mindset. Yeah. They don't have to worry about writing a contemporary with one author and a fantasy with others. So it's finding that person. But the problem is they do it for a salary. So they'll often give like free advice and free critiques, and they'll do certain line drafts and stuff. Whereas freelance people are being paid. But then you have to decide before they've even seen your work if it's someone you want to look at it. So really there needs to be more accessibility to those people. But the problem is they need to protect themselves as well, because they don't want to be doing work for people. Like a friend of mine set herself up as an editor coming out of our uni course. Now, because we've literally just spent like a year feedbacking on everyone's work and discussing different writing styles and kind of working with each other, that continued for like a really long time, where we were just sending each other work. Like I've got maybe 2 people that I could send stuff to from my course now that I feel comfortable still sending them stuff, because they've seen it so many times that I'm just like, I don't know how much you're going to help me with this because I still haven't sold it. Yeah. But they're doing it for free, and then it gets to the point where I know they can help because they've got the experience. But then when it comes to charging, how do you know they're going to be a good editor? How do you know what you're paying for is worth it? So I think that's the danger, and especially when you're looking at something that is so as important as, you know, help for that neurodiversity. I think that's the thing. So it is tricky, but it's also
especially because with like, there's plenty of like neurodiverse writers that can do that. They're fine with it. So it's that sort of thing where like there isn't really going to be a catch-all. Like we all work differently. Like, you know, I'm autistic and have ADHD and PDA. So that's 3 like sort of contradicting situations. So I think it's just more people being a little bit more understanding. And honestly, I think publishing, like, I don't want to say it needs to slow down, because it needs to catch up in terms of its inclusivity and stuff. But I think sometimes there's too much of a focus on being like, we want to buy this book and publish it in 2 years. And it's like, do you know what? Why not say like, hey, like we're going to publish your book. Like the thing is, publishing themes, like you see it, like vampires were really popular. They died out. They're slowly coming back. So it's like, even if someone was like, hey, like we like the idea of this book, but we might not publish it for 10 years. I'm like, you know what? That's fine by me. Like, just help me.
I guess it's just the turnover of it, because I think what's really interesting, like books do take years to get out. You think like Madeline Miller took 10 years to write A Song of Achilles and another 7 to write Circe.
Look at the difference between publication time. Night Circus, Starless Sea, like, do you know? And then you have like fucking Marcus Zusak, who took like 10 years to write Bridge of Shit. But like obviously, like with me, like with the Kemi's books, it's like I like know her books, like I know projects she's working on that like haven't been announced, and I'm like, I'm desperate for this. It's not going to come out for like 3 years, and then obviously like last year, like I read The Infinity Courts, and that's not even out yet, and I'm like, so like it's so like obviously like while it's stressful for me, like I obviously understand like she's working on so many things, and she's like, oh, by the way, this book's coming out, and it's like, I totally get why authors like forget to promo their new releases because they're like doing 10
They're
other.
already working on the next one, yeah.
And I'm like, what? And that's the thing, like, people are saying stuff like, oh, can authors stop putting Harry Potter references in their books? And I'm like, how many times do we need to discuss the fact that a lot of these books are done and they're just waiting to come out? And in theory, yeah, it's not hard to just remove a line referencing Harry Potter. But the majority of publishers, especially if you happen to be with Bloomsbury, they're not going to say, oh, yeah, we'll just like completely take over like 10 days. Like, you know, we'll take time to remove that fucking ice cream van is going again. But, you know, it's like...
Box!
She's going to disappear now.
Go get herself another one. But I'm not leaving this bed. You know, no publishing house is like, obviously if the author goes, hey, like, it's come to my attention that something I've wrote is problematic, but like a lot of publishers aren't going to be like, oh yeah, like, we totally get it, JKR is transphobic, so like we'll totally, like, a lot, the books might have already been approved for print, like, I don't know how it works, but for all we know, the way that publishing like printing service works, it could be that they've got to like approve what's being printed like a year in advance, so they might be like, if we say, hey, actually we've got to change the file, the book's going to get pushed back by like a year, all because of like one line. And like, I think while it does suck, there are a hell of a lot worse things that I think a book should get like scaled back for, rather than like a throwaway line that we all will know was written. Like, okay, especially like trans people will have known that JK was a TERF way before it kind of came to light for the rest of us. But I do think there needs to be a bit of benefit of the doubt. And even if the author wants to, they often can't change it.
Yeah.
So,
because I was going to say, like, for instance, this actually came out in Brazil in 2016. It's obviously only coming out into English in 2021. It does have a Dumbledore reference in it. However, it does mainly have Lord of the Rings, which I appreciate that more. I think it's just because I think
remember that
the conversation I do hear a lot is like, I think it's not even just Harry Potter. It's just like, please stop shoving other books at us through books. Like, the readers, we already know these books. And the thing is, I feel it's just one of those things, particularly when you're like, we forget writers are all friends with each other. Like, some of them have their own friend groups. It's just a kind of way to do like a little nod to that. You know, like, kind of like how Alice Oseman does it to herself. Like, when you read Heartstopper, you can see a character's reading like Solitaire on the bus or Radio Silences on their bookshelf.
I mean, at least that's her own book, so if she becomes problematic, it's fine, because if you're reading Heartstopper anyway, then you don't care.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, from the Nick and Charlie novella, she stopped putting in their Hogwarts houses because she did that in Heartstopper 1 to 3. And like, that's not a thing anymore in her things. But like you say, it all depends as well, because not many authors do get a say. Like you say, like, because essentially when the rights to your book have been bought, they've bought it for the way that book is written there and then. They're the ones who approve said edits.
And like, I've seen bigger authors being like, oh, this has came to my attention, I've spoke to like my agent and whatever, and they have a bit more sway. Like, if Cassandra Clare was like, hey, can we like cancel this one because like I need to change this thing, they're going to be like, yeah, like, you've made us billions. But you know, if a debut comes along and they're like, so a couple of people have said this, they're going to be like, we're done with you, like, we've gave you your advance, like, fuck off. Like, we want this published.
Another example is like V. Schwab, like with her middle grade series. Like, they've had the first 2 books out already, and you've read it, haven't you?
I read the first one.
Have you read it, Hannah?
Yeah.
And have you read it, Ali? Basically,
I have only read, I think, one V. Schwab book.
But like that one, it's got 2 books out currently, and it already has loads of Harry Potter references in it. It's like a running joke.
The first book was set in Edinburgh, and
which is
like, it's not even funny. You walk about places, and the amount of things that'll have like J.K. Rowling sat here, like the Elephant House. Oh my god, the fucking Elephant House Cafe. She like never wrote it there. There's this like whole thing where everyone thinks she sat there every day and wrote the entire thing, and I'm like, she went there like once. You go into the toilets, and it's just graffiti being like, Ginny and Harry forever and all this shit, and it's like, it's just like, it's crazy. And I mean, people will like block the entrance, and if you want to go inside without actually going to the cafe, you've got to like give them money. And I'm just like, and you know, you walk along streets, like the amount of guided tours, like you'll have them with their stupid stick in the air, like, follow me, and there's like 3 streets where they're like, this was the inspiration for Diagon Alley, and I'm like, no, it was actually that one round there, but close enough. Everything is like Harry Potter, J.K. and I'm just like, I'm so fucking over it.
Yeah,
so
the
like,
reason
I do get why it's in that book, but
the reason I brought that one up though was I think it would suddenly be weird now for like book 3 or however many she does if she suddenly took it all out, just because it's so ingrained in what those characters say so often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like anything that is being written now, it's definitely past the point to include them.
Yeah.
So many people as well just don't like pop culture references in general, and I get it. Like something that I can't remember where I heard it, but I remember seeing somewhere about how a lot, like you'll notice that a lot of books will, like, you don't want to date your book. So if you include things like Harry Potter, if we read a book now that heavily mentions Harry Potter, it's like, oh, that's so pre-20, like 20 sort of thing. But it's things like if somebody says like if you read a book, somebody will be, pardon me, someone might say, oh, I pull out the latest iPhone. They won't say, oh, I pulled out, if I wrote a book 2 years ago, I'd be like, I pulled out my iPhone 10. And somebody would be like, oh my God, that's so old. Like, why have you got an iPhone 10? Do you know? So it's that thing where like, you don't really want to put in things that can date your book. So if you could be going around and be like, oh, I pull out my Walkman. And it's like, this is old. So like you would just say music player.
That instantly makes it a historical fiction.
Yeah.
The thing is, it contemporizes it for the contemporaries. So there's always going to be books that have things that are very like iconic of that moment, whether it's like a certain reference to an actor or a book reference or whatever. And I find it really interesting whenever anyone kicks off about it, because the only reason they're kicking off about it is because they have outgrown whatever the reference is. So either it's a case of the nostalgia just isn't there for them, or it's just not something they're into.
They're not the intended demographic.
Exactly. So like I saw a book a while ago where it mentioned something about TikTok, and I was like, yeah, I flick through TikTok, but I don't engage with it the same way I do with something like that.
Views, bitches.
Well, yeah, there is that. But like in 10 years' time, are people going to look at a TikTok reference the same way we look at like a Facebook reference? Like if you talk about like Facebook mums, for example.
Oh my God, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So it contemporizes us for us now, but it will feel dated. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm trying to write contemporary at the moment, and something my lecturer said to me when I was at uni is any reference you put into your book, you're putting the entire history of it in your book as well. So what you're implying is that your world includes this, and that could be anything from the coinage you use to specific popular like references. So you have to decide what are you keeping in your world and what are you taking out of it. And it's really, really easy to just rely on references to things that everyone knows about. It's easy to make a Harry Potter reference and be like, oh my God, that guy's such a Hufflepuff, because you know what that means. You can take away from that immediately. I don't have to do any more describing than that. So it's just a case of it will stop, but it will take a long time. Because
one thing that I do find funny though is like I think a lot of like contemporaries books that are written to kind of represent nowadays, they do kind of try and be timeless because they're written to kind of be read and enjoyed in the moment as if it's current day. Whereas the minute someone writes a historical, and specifically a current historical, so if someone wrote a book now set in 2000, they will constantly mention like, oh, I use my Nokia or my flip phone.
My Nokia 3410.
Yeah, like, and I just find it really interesting because like it does make sense. It helps you get into that era, and it's like it's really funny how like in a Victorian set book, they don't walk about like being like, oh, my horse and carriage or my cane, or like, they don't bring up like typical like utensils 100%. Of that time period. Yeah. But if it's a time that we may have lived in, but has been more than 10 years, they will like I remember reading a book, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and it was set in like 2010. Oh, it's going to bug me. I can't remember what it was. But I remember like every like time they were like in the car, they would name a song that had been in the top 10 that year. Like it was playing on the radio, and I was like, we get it. Like I understand that we are in this time. Like I got it.
Like one of the I think in like the last like 6 or 7 books I've read, at least 5 of them have referenced Taylor Swift. And I'm like, hello Taylor, didn't expect you to be here. Hello Taylor.
Hey, how are you doing?
It's like Alice Oseman in a lot of her earlier work, she loved to reference Tumblr. Like for me, Tumblr is something that is dying. I know people still use it, but it is dying.
Don't
Pardon?
Don't say that to Keris. Keris is on there every day.
Is Tumblr still going?
Yeah.
Tumblr's still going very strong.
Yeah.
And then there's me, it's like, it's dying. I stopped using it, so it's
Well,
dying.
I only have it because Karis keeps sending me so many SBN references from Tumblr that it was just easier to just re-download the app so that they open
That's
nicely.
exactly what I did.
Sorry, everyone in the comments, if you're a Tumblr user.
I'm just old.
I'm just an old pensioner. I still remember when we used MySpace.
Were you around for Bebo?
Bebo, oh my god, yes. Who's the hotter girl? This one or this one?
We just with Ali sitting here like, I'm not British.
And then MSN,
Well,
of course.
We still did MySpace and Tumblr here. I just haven't been on Tumblr since like high school. So
See, to Ali, it was dead as well.
Yeah. That's how you know
Anyway.
it's really dead.
This has literally been like a half hour.
Yeah.
Yesterday was very exciting because Emily is no longer a child now. She's still only 13.
She's just a slightly older child.
She's a slightly older child now.
Happy
Happy birthday
to yesterday!
And it was, I think, was it Katie's dad's birthday yesterday as well?
Yes, Katie's dad. He's a slightly older gentleman.
He's like an older dad.
I just thought, yeah, Katie's dad.
I mean, Katie's dad, he's not like a regular dad. He's a cool dad.
He's a cool
Listen,
dad.
it's Robbie. As we've established, he is an old man. So
Mhm.
fellow elder men are his thing.
my dad
Representation.
has decided to like try to be a cool dad because him and my mom split last year and he like got a girlfriend. He's like sending me pictures of his girlfriend, like, isn't my girlfriend so cute? I'm like, do you have friends?
I'd be like, no, my mom's cute. No offense to the stepmom, I'm sure she's lovely, but I'd be like, Dad, not the person to have this conversation
Yeah.
with.
Think about your target audience for this.
No, I know he looked so mad. He was like, "Oh, get me away!"
Yeah, he doesn't. He just wants to eat my keyboard, so he gets really mad if I try to hold him in front of the computer.
Aww. Hopefully, 46 pages of Watch Over Me by Nina. Look, I was going to say liqueur. Wow, I'm clearly thinking of something
Yes.
else. 24 pages, 30 pages. Oh, we've got two people read. Buddy read. Jamie, what page are you on? It could be a buddy read.
I think that's like, I'm literally on page 32, so.
So it depends if Jamie just started it.
Oh,
Oh,
which
Domino.
one?
Barbecue base with chicken.
Don't talk to me about Domino's. I'm pregnant, and if someone mentions food I can order, I just like have to order it.
Ali, you guys have got the better menu over there. Like, you guys have pasta bowls.
They're okay.
What part of don't mention food you're going to make the pregnant lady want to order? Did you not hear?
I'm encouraging the ordering. Order a pasta
Are
bowl.
you
There.
kidding?
No,
got it.
the pasta bowls at my Domino's are terrible. I ordered one, and there was like they like dripped 2 drops of sauce on it. I was pissed.
Rude.
Gross.
I was like, I want to speak to a manager. I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to sign it with the name Karen.
I'm back late night with Emma. And I mean, it's 8:30. That is very late.
Oh, I forgot. I'm like, it's 2 p.m. What are you guys talking about?
Evie.
Eva.
I just need to mute for 1 second. I'm sorry.
He's going to burp or fart. I can guarantee it. The best part is I could have unmuted you.
Don't you dare.
Everyone's went for dinner. Barb reading. Just up to everyone. I do the same, Barb. I literally was adding in people's info and I was like, I'm not subscribed to Ali. This is unacceptable. I'm really bad for following people on Twitter and be like, I associate you as a Twitter person, and I'll see them be like, oh, new video uploaded, but like I am really bad at watching people's videos. I watch like Kayla, and that's it. But I'm getting there.
I feel like that
I'm
is
also
everyone's
really
mood when they're not watching BookTube. They're just watching Kayla.
Or it's like I will put like I have my watch later, but I'm really bad. Like if I were to like go on my watch later just now and I saw a December wrap up or January TBR, I'd be like, oh, it's too late now. Even though like so many people are like, oh, I filmed my January TBR, so it's too late. I'm like, no, post it. Like if they posted it today and I added it to my watch later and it was at the top, I'd watch it. If it was uploaded more than like a week and a half ago, I'm suddenly like, no, I can't watch this anymore. It's old, and it's the worst mindset.
That is horrible. Those videos are timeless.
I know. It's something I'm working on.
You should, Emma. I did it for you.
Well, I'm not going
Agatha!
Don't start ACOTAR. Just don't. I read it, fucking hated it, and I was like, everyone says Akamath is better. I can distinctly remember it being like maybe 50 to 100 pages into ACOTAR, and my gran ended up in intensive care. And I remember like sitting in the intensive care like family room with like a cup of tea because they had those amazing taps that have boiling water literally on tap, so you could have a hot cup of tea in an instant. It was amazing. It was the best part of my gran being in the intensive care, which sounds really horrible.
Is that what?
Yeah, she was in intensive care. And I was like, this is great, free tea.
No, but like a
tap with boiling water.
Like a sink?
Like, yeah. Well, it wasn't a sink. It was like you could put your cup under and you could like run the tap.
Oh.
I think the word you're looking for is faucet.
A faucet, yeah.
Oh, that's right, Litet.
Not, you don't tap it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember sitting in that family room, like trying to read ACOTAR, and like that whole week, I like got through it, and I was like, oh well, maybe I just really hated. Stop asking me for blog tours, too many blog tours. But I think I have that. Do I have that book physically? I have to check that in the next sprint when we actually sprint because it's been fucking time.
If we get 10 people in the comments telling Emma to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, Emma will give it a second chance.
No, I've already read that and the second one because everyone was like the second one's better, and I was like, okay, well, you know, it was a shit time. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. And I was like,
no.
I was like, what is that noise?
No, stop! The mic is not for eats.
These are shit to say.
He's trying to tell you to read ACOTAR.
No, he's like, hello, me.
He's like, Emma, read ACOTAR for me.
Oh my god, Emma, you have to do it for the cat. Come on. Literally, Emma, you have to do it for the cat.
I swear, if you start walking on this keyboard.
Hi, Viz. Did we see?
Oh! Does your cat agree that Emma should read ACOTAR?
He does. He's like, Emma, do it.
Wait, Reese, come back here.
Emma, you love that you call yourself a crazy cat lady. You should listen to cats, what they want.
I was like, he's not going to stay if I get him out of the box, but I can move the box closer to me.
Yeah, tell her. Yeah.
Poor Emma. Emma's just like, I did not come here for the ACOTAR bullying.
What did we say? Oh, wait, maybe that was our social media.
I'll tell you what, Emma, it's either that or you've got to read my book that I've
Emma
sent you.
said,
For the love of God.
I'm going to read Fat Lip.
No, I mean the other one, the one you said you would beta read for me.
Oh, you only sent me that like last week. Give a girl. Listen, I'm trying to read Generation Misfits. I can only read one or two.
Last week? It's been nearly a month.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it has.
It really
what is
hasn't.
it?
Huh?
What is it?
So the book that I'm querying is a like gothic fiction murder mystery with werewolves.
That sounds
And
amazing.
It was the
my
4th
main
of
character.
January.
Okay. So that was 3 weeks ago. It was like the first week.
January is not a good. It was 2 weeks ago yesterday. Fuck off. 2 weeks. And considering last week was my granddad's first birthday since he died, and next week, literally a week today, is a year since he died, I get a free fucking pass.
Yeah, for those 2 weeks, but it's the third week now.
No, last week was his birthday.
God.
This time last year he was dying. Next week is when he died.
What is happening?
Okay, fine. I'll message you again in 3 weeks. But yeah, basically the main character is deaf, and I wanted Emma's opinion on it.
I'm going to steal.
Oh, I'm really, it sounds really intriguing though.
And I also only sent in the first chapter because I was like, if it is shit, like, I'm not going to force you to read all of it.
I'm still mad.
You know what she's going to do? She's going to send me the whole thing now just to be like, fuck you, you're going to read the whole thing.
Right. I wouldn't do that. If like genuinely, because like, yeah, it's 80,000 words at the moment, and I'm already like I'm changing one of the characters, so my detective was a bit meh, so I'm just kind of upping like the murder mystery thrillery element of it and really leaning into the gothic.
Is a trigger warning for the whole thing or the first chapter?
No, the whole thing.
Okay, I was like
throughout the whole thing.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of trigger. I thought I'd put them all there at the beginning, just as like a heads up. But yeah, it gets a bit gory and a bit gross and a bit brutal. Because that's what we like.
I agree,
Ali,
though.
you feel bad, and I'm not letting
No,
you get away with it. You're gonna out
I'm-
yourself.
I'm so mad because Hannah sent me Fat Lip, a copy, and I read it, and I was like, I'm gonna put this on my shelf. Everyone's gonna look at it in all of my videos. And then my dog was like, no, they're not.
Did it eat it?
He spilled water all over it to the point that like the cover like peeled off, and I was like,
No.
of all the books that you could have destroyed in my
We're
house.
naming him to Tamlin then.
I've got your address. I'll send you another one. It's fine.
He also ate an arc of a book that I
Yes.
had told somebody else I was going to send to them. Like he eats my books.
Oh dear. He's a literal book devourer. No, Kitty.
100%. That was me. Buzz, 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 buzz on MSN.
Fucking Minesweeper. I was like, what the fuck? And it's also not called a nudge.
No, it had a nudge and then it had a buzz.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't have a buzz.
Yeah, the buzz was the best because basically the buzz, when it buzzed, your screen would automatically go to whoever was buzzing you.
Mm.
So like, try
That
ignoring me
never
now. You
happened
can't have
to
any
me.
other chats now till you reply. Oh, I'm begging your parents for a webcam.
And then you would go on to like fucking Omegle instead, and then you're like, oh, this is not what I thought it was.
Come here.
Yeah, or chat roulette.
Chat with that.
Come here.
Chat roulette was hilarious.
Remember Smarter Child?
Yes, smart child. Like, smart child, why won't you be my friend?
Minesweeper. I never understood that game, and I always died.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
The
And
one
you
that-
used to have the little hearts raining down the screen. Oh, that was my favourite, Emma, the little boom, boom, boom.
I can still hear it. The laughing one. Oh, Jamie's at page 200. Your buddy.
Oh, yes, Jamie, you're smashing it.
Yeah. You're in the Netherlands.
It takes me so long to figure out time when people type it like that. Like I know it's basic math, but my brain just goes no.
Okay.
You're unsubbing from me because you came to my channel and are unhappy that I dissed Sarah J. Maas.
Your breath smells terrible. No, don't
The
lick me.
stands are coming
What
for
did
you,
you
Emma.
eat? No, don't stop. No.
It's like, please. Oh, we got cat butt licking in the background. Oh, he stopped, damn it. Robbie, what are you doing? I don't know what he's doing.
Is that what you were licking? Were you licking the cat's butt?
Doing this.
Oh, look, Sophie, get
Queen of
this.
Sarah J. Maas.
Even I wouldn't recommend ACOTAR for Emma. That
It would
tells you how
It would make a
unneeded.
great reading blog.
If I hadn't read it before, I would have done it. But I've read it. I'm not wasting my time doing it again. I already think I got rid of my books, so it's just not happening.
It's fine because I'll just send it to you in your subscription box.
Yes! Oh my god, Hannah, do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh my! Okay, I genuinely don't think I could ever like take your money and then be like, ah.
No, but you absolutely would send me a copy because you have my address. So
Ditto. And I'll
Absolutely.
send you the sequel.
Yeah, I've got the first two as like the original covers, and then I've got the third one in the like new covers. So I then bought the first two of the new covers.
Oriental
They
for a
look
white
nice.
woman.
Oh,
They look too Asian inspired.
Yeah, I
For
don't like
white
that.
women. Like if it was Asian fantasy, hell fucking yes. But it's
But it's
just it makes me feel like the publishers went, oh, people want authors of color, so like maybe we'll confuse them. And I'm like, no.
Confused. Is that confused?
Listen, I went from being overly tired and feeling ill to like, because I feel better now, I'm like, here we go. Delusion
fine.
is in the building. Pris needs to come back because the chaos is here. I don't know what I said, but yes, I agree. I'm funny.
I don't know what it is you want from me. What do you want?
Kisses.
His breath smells like butts. I don't want his kisses.
But we also have wintertime and summertime. So we're currently in winter, and then we go to British summertime and we move an hour ahead. So no. I don't know. I know what happens when. Just I know time moves.
In the spring it goes forwards, and then in
Oh yeah,
autumn
spring
it goes back.
forward, fall back.
That's
You
the
are
only way I
right,
remember it.
It is time to sprint. So we are gonna go. You know what? We're gonna go back the old-fashioned way, so I don't have to beep again because no one wants to do that.
I loved it.
I'm glad.
You could just have the sound effect of, oh, the claw.
Ooh, the-
Mhm.
I hope you all liked my new intro. Just
Loved
saying. And I'm really excited for my new TBR game.
Excuse me.
Oh, really?
Oh no, everyone's so shocked that Emma's doing a second sprint.
Crazy.
No,
Crazy.
that was about the fucking summertime.
Oh.
Okay, we're going for half an hour. Let's go. Hi. I feel like either nobody noticed or nobody cared. That
I noticed when I finished Saga and was like, the timer appears to have stopped.
It stopped when I had like 4 minutes to go because the house phone went because it was my gran using the intercom. So she was like, I was like, oh, I'll go down. And I was like, hello. And she's like, look. And there was an air fryer on the TV because we've got an air fryer, but it's a bit small. So she was like, there's another one. I was like, okay. And then she's like, look, he's going to make a calzone. I was like, Gran, I need to go. Where are we? I don't know if this is deliberate, but when I see wow like that, I just think of Owen Wilson. Wow.
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 I did put in the comments, stopping daylight early as Gran called me. So I got a good chunk of Hannah's first chapter read.
Yay! I love that. Reading sprints are now just for Emma to read Hannah's work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure to get more written though, because she'll run out very quickly.
When does your book come out this year?
So the one that I'm self-publishing was pushed back. Originally it was going to be Valentine's Day, but because of lockdown and stuff, the printer had to close. So it's been pushed back to April the 23rd. Hopefully that'll be the
Wait
date.
that long. I don't think you
Arcs roll out
understand.
before that, though. I'm doing arcs and everything this time. Like I'm making it look proper legit. So you'll get it before that.
I did think it was going to be like a language thing, but wow.
Wow.
Owen Wilson.
I haven't read it, but I want to.
I have it,
Mark.
but that's one of the few books I have on my shelves that I consider intimidating. I'm just like,
What is your book about, Hannah? I assume they mean the one that's coming out in April.
Yeah, so the one that's coming out in April is a contemporary, but it's also like it's a rom-com YA romance. And basically the premise is our main character has to be a bridesmaid for her aunt's wedding. And then 2 weeks before the wedding, she breaks up with her boyfriend. And as anyone who's just recently broken up with someone knows, the last thing you want is to be surrounded by people who are desperately in love. So it is called The Bridesmaid Survival Guide, and it will be out on the 23rd of April, hopefully.
It's so quiet.
How did everyone get on reading that?
I read 50 pages.
Nice.
I got about 15, but I feel like that's an accomplishment because the child was grabbing Coke cans and thinking that was a fun toy.
This is going to mean nothing to anyone but Hannah, but I got to part 6, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty much finished, but sort of the last little bit, and then I had to go and look at an air fryer.
That's fair. Air fryers do take priority. That's fair.
How many? Yeah, they do, and it means I don't have to fucking slave her on cooking. I can just shove it in and go.
Mm-hmm.
How many pages is it going to be?
So it's kind of in its third edit, and it's currently around 60,000. So it'll be, YA length. So pages wise, I don't know.
I was gonna say I don't think 60,000 pages. That's words, right?
No, that's 60,000 words. Pages, I don't know.
Oh, I just got spam mail from Bonnier Books being like, middle grade proof drop monster donuts.
I'm interested in half of that title.
Like, might just have to reply to that and be like, here is my address.
Mm-hmm.
Gianna Valero. It looks like it's going to be a picture book. There's no cover. Oh, Tangrove. Grace uses donuts as her secret weapon to hunt monsters.
All right.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm still invested because I've got a donut.
Oh, now I want donuts.
I'm so sorry, Ali. I'm just giving you all the food cravings today.
I ate 3 bags of gummy worms yesterday because
Oh.
that's what I wanted.
That's fair.
Literally, you have whatever your body's craving.
Or don't mind me, I'm just emailing about monster donuts.
Rocket asked if they're gonna send donuts with the book.
That's the
10
least.
out of 10 only requesting in case they send me donuts. I should say that. I'd be like, hi, go you know about this book, really intrigued, also really want donuts now, hint hint.
Literally, you just think in the same like kind of like complex, it would be like Pizza Planet, Monster Donuts.
I've got my dinner waiting for me downstairs. The more you guys speak about food, the more I'm just gonna be like, I'm out. Sorry.
It's 9 o'clock.
What do you
My
have?
dinner was ready at 7:05, but I was here.
You could have went and had it. I wasn't gonna. You're making you starve.
I'm hardly starving, am I? Like, I'm not gonna waste away. I can afford to wait for a meal. It's
Wait,
fine.
what is it?
We're having fajitas, I think.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, no, you're
Ooh.
not leaving. You're staying because if I can't have fajitas, you're not having fajitas.
Oh, no one wants TJ Highs.
I
Mm.
want fajitas.
That's
And
where I
then
always get my
Monster
fajitas from. 'Cause I'm way too lazy to make fajitas myself.
Love a fajita.
Oh my god, literally, I think when I went to TGI's, the amount of different pronunciations you hear on that word is ridiculous.
Vagina.
Yeah, literally, excuse me, can I get a vagina?
Please do not call it.
Oh my god, Ali,
Please
it's so
only
common
call it
though. People call it that all the time. Vagita, Vegeta.
Why?
Can I get the
They just
that,
sound it out, but
Have you never seen
vagina.
the sign?
That's so
that in
funny.
quesadilla? Oh my god, can I get a quesadilla?
Have you
Kiss
never
words.
seen this?
How to make your life into a musical.
I just want her vagina.
I love vaginas, and I'm not a picky eater, so I will eat that thing as soon as it comes. Hot, cold, I will eat that vagina.
No, I have not.
Okay.
It's like
It's
your
like-
best time.
It's like when I used to work at Jack Will's and gilets were like the big thing, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, do you have any of them gillets?" I was like, "Excuse me, we don't have any chicken gillets. We have gilets."
It's
Like,
like you're
it's
not
the same thing in it, babe.
pronounce it correctly.
Literally, I'm just like, oh, you sound so pretentious, but you're like, it's a gillet. What the hell is a gillet?
Oh, bless. I mean, I always feel really bad because, like, when people mispronounce stuff like that, it's because they've only ever learnt it through reading the words.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want to mock them, but like, as a teacher, when you have like a kid say a word and you just be like, "No, you could not be more wrong."
I can laugh so much though because I still make mistakes like that. Look at me. I only learnt this year how to say trilogy correctly.
Trilogy.
I was calling it triology.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
My
Literally. Mood.
favorite was Hannah.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to show you guys this book. And Hannah was so confident talking about this.
I'm never confident. I'm just loud. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not confidence.
Now, bearing in mind, Hannah spoke to somebody from like a similar area who did not correct the pronunciation of this book.
My aunt's Chinese, and she let me fully believe what I was saying. Is what Emma
What
said.
is this book
Well,
called?
Love Boat Taipei.
Do you agree, Ali?
Yeah.
This bitch is calling it Love Boat to Pie.
Hi.
I mean, the only reason I know how to say it though is because I've been to Taipei.
My aunt's Chinese. She never corrected me because I was like, "Look, there's some stuff in here. I think it's a bit dodge. Like, what do you think?" I talked her through it. Blah blah blah. I mentioned the title several times. Didn't correct me once.
Literally, like,
She
what's
just-
going on the Love Boat teepee? Like, what's going on?
I love Boat TV. Oh no!
To be fair, that's just what happens though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think every wrap up I butcher at least half the authors that names I'm saying. And I just say this, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning. I can't pronounce half these names. Siri doesn't know how to say half these names, but we're gonna go with it. And
Oh,
feel free to phonetically correct me in the
saw-
comments.
a whole thing on Twitter that someone was like, "You need to look up every name of every author you say and how to pronounce it." And I was like,
I don't have the fucking time.
Yeah, like I'm sorry if I mispronounce something. I can't look up the pronunciation for everything.
It's like if somebody is French, they're automatically going to like my name is. I'm going to put it in the chat just in case anyone doesn't know from Twitter. But this is my surname, right? So how do you like? Well, you two kind of know how it's pronounced. Like I don't know if Ali, like how would you pronounce it? I'm not going to be offended.
What? It depends on where the last name is from.
Exactly. So it's French, but I live in Scotland. So a French person would say Ferrier, but I say Ferrier.
Well, that sounds so much nicer in French.
I know, Emma Ferrier.
It sounds almost like
now Emma Ferrier.
Because it sounds so much like almost like a Ferrero Rocher.
Oh my god, people used to say that, and I used to get Ferrari all the time. You get phone calls, is that Emma Ferrari? I fucking wish, mate.
At least
you're Ferrari.
McDonald's had a farm to you. I'm like, O'Donnell is not the same as McDonald's. It doesn't even start the same. All right.
Yeah. Like the point is like a French person is automatically going to like because of how their language works, they're going to look at that and go, "Oh, it's Ferrier." Whereas an English person or like any other language that would pronounce an IER as ear is going to go Ferrier. And it's like I do think if it's a case of like if I introduced myself to someone and went, "Hi, I'm Emma Ferrier," and they were like, "Oh, Emma Ferrier," I'd be like, "I just told you." That's frustrating. But I'm like, you know what? It's like things like Japanese names. I can look at like Japanese written with like English letters, and I can go, okay, like I can take a minute and I can read it. It's just getting your brain into that, oh, we need to pronounce this with this sort of thing. And I think sometimes people get very quick to be like, no, you've got to get it all. I'm like, do you know how many authors there are? Like, I'm literally looking at the back of a book and I can't even remember the fucking title or the main character's name. There's no way I can look up, like if I'm doing like my 200 book unhaul, there was zero way I could do anything in that video, but it's just not possible. Like everything. Like if it is a name that I'm not 100% sure of, like if I'm going to do like a wrap up, like in a wrap up or a review, and it's a name that I'm like, I don't really know, I'm going to try and look into it. But if it's like my unboxing for a box of stories, I got a book by a Zimbabwean author, and it took me a second to like get the name, and I'm like, you know, I've literally just unboxed this. There's only so much prep I can do.
I think sometimes that's the thing, is it is how much time between you picking it up for the first time, especially if it's the first time. But I think the reason some people get so upset about it is because, especially when it comes to non-Western European names, it is a microaggression. It is a way that people will subjugate others by actively mispronouncing their name.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like,
being like, oh, can I call you such and such?
Yeah, it's like, no.
But I think the problem is with anything like that, because that is a factor, people will just be like, oh, either you're doing it wrong and you're doing it wrong on purpose, or you get it right and you do all of the prep. And you're like, but there's this little in-between bit where actually maybe my accent's going to sound weird, like all these other things. That's just, it's just, like, you can't win.
I mean, like, I struggle. I don't know if it's a Scottish thing or just a me thing or a bit of both, but I struggle with R's in the middle of words. So water is fine. Ferrier, I'm like, Ferrier, like, it's like Jonathan Ross. Like, it's like, it's so cruel.
Yeah.
So like it's a hard, but yeah, like I think it's a case of I'm trying to think of like authors who've maybe got popular, like I guess like Tomi Adeyemi.
There's one that I always think get wrong that's popular, but you go, but Tomi Adeyemi's one, yeah.
What one were you thinking?
Roshani
Chokshi.
I always mispronounce her last name. I've said it 5 different ways.
Oh, who's Ransom Riggs married to? Tahira Mafi.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, it's that thing where like I feel like popular authors like that. It's like obviously if you know someone in person, like I think at that point you should maybe like me with Nena. I was like Nena, and I'm like, okay, it's Nena. You know, it's like right. I'm now right. That's how your name is pronounced, and it'd be really shitty if I'm like, yeah, no, I just can't do it at all, and I'm just going to call you Nena because it's easy. But like I do think like with a popular author like Tomi, I'm now sitting there like, what's her fucking name? You know, when you overthink it. But yeah, like. You know, I do think at that point when it has been like someone that is around, I mean, also you've got to factor in like if so you don't know what book someone's being exposed to, but yeah, there is times where like a debut author will be like, oh, this author's like the amount of people that say Akimi Dawn Bowman, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Akemi, you know, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's just kind of what you're exposed to. A lot of authors don't yet have like an audiobook or an interview where they've said their name. So it is just kind of like trying to like find that balance. And I think, I don't know, I guess a lot of it, like obviously I don't want to speak over like people of color when it comes to authors of color. But I think sometimes it is just kind of being like, okay, as long as you can kind of tell someone, like you can tell when someone's just like, but I don't know, and you give up. Whereas someone's like, oh, I'm really sorry. So
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's owning it if you're like, look, this is on me. I know I've messed up, or like the amount of times I've been like, I really hope I haven't butchered that, and I'm so sorry if I have. There's a difference between that and just being like, this person whose name I'm not going to pronounce. Like, I think that like there is a massive, and that's something about it. There being like a spectrum between. So
there's a way to say, I'm not going to say this name because I'm not sure on how to pronounce it, and being like, oh, I'm not even going to bother. Like, there's a way you can say, I won't say it because I don't want to be disrespectful. Like, you can say, oh, I'm not going to try and say it because I don't want to be disrespectful. But people still choose to go, I'm not going to bother. And I'm just like, you could be a little bit nicer about it. Like, their name, like, this is their work. Like, it's like when people are like, oh, I hated trying to read that book because I couldn't pronounce any of the character names. And I'm like, just make up a name if you have to.
Yeah,
I've done. I did that when I first read Throne of Glass. Like, for instance, like even just the main character's name, like Selena. I was like, how do you pronounce this? I spent like 5 minutes every time, and I went, I'm going to call her Selena. That's easy for me. I was calling them Selena and Kyle. Easy.
Actually,
and then she's quite. Like I will say about Sarah J. Maas, she has at the back of the book a pronunciation guide.
Here's a question for you, Robbie. The twins in Daughter of the Burning City. How do you pronounce their name?
Oh, I need them in front of me. Oh God, hold on.
Well, I'll type it. I'll type it because
type it. Because I was like, I know they're quite short names. I've been saying Uni and Do.
I've been saying Una and Do.
Because because initially when I first read them like that, I said it like that, but then I was like, that kind of sounds a bit more feminine. So I was like, is it Uni and Do? Because it sounds almost more masculine. Because they're boys.
More feminine to me. See, that's what I mean. Like, people make up these random names, and you're like, I don't.
Because the closest name I got to is like Yuri, so it was like Uni, Yuri.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Well, see, I was going Una and Do because it's like un de in French. Una de.
It's amazing where your brain will go with like commonly associated
words.
Because
to you. I know French, my brain went, this can be kind of French, whereas you kind of went, let's just go with what sounds masculine in my language.
Literally, I just went, what kind of names would it sound like if it was in the Lord of the Rings book?
Sorry, VP doesn't know what vaginas are.
You don't know what a vagina is?
Fajitas.
Fajitas are people say it that way.
Yeah. It's a Mexican food. Basically, it's
wrap,
chicken, and then other stuff. Yeah, like a burrito or an enchilada.
She googled it.
Or a quesadilla.
Quesadilla.
I only learned what quesadillas were because of Nick Jonas and Camp Rock 2.
Me, I learned it because of TJ Fighters.
Fettuccine Alfredo. Hello, Frog.
Hi, Frog.
Sophie, continue. Emma Ferrier is way better than Emma Ferrier.
See, I'm sad that I didn't get to carry on my Nan's surname. My Nan's surname was Duvignac, which I think is just beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I get O'Donnell instead. And to be fair, O'Donnell isn't technically the family name. So my great-gran had 5 husbands, and my granddad's surname was Cockle. So he decided he would take on a surname of one of the husbands instead of growing up as a Cockle. So he took on O'Donnell instead.
Well, my great aunt. So I am descendant from Charles Dickens. He's like a 3rd great uncle. And at some point they dropped the S and they made it Dickon. And then my mum's great aunt Isa and her brother Willie, their family dropped it to just Dick. So we had Isa Dick and Willie Dick.
That can't be true. That can't be true.
So it's like someone going hi, Isa Dick. and he's Willie Dick.
Oh my god. Oh, I went to high school with someone whose parents did something like that on purpose. Their last name was Mydinger, and they named their son Chase.
Oh no.
Why? That's bullying. That's bullying your own child. That's brutal. That's funny though. Oh wow.
I couldn't say cinnamon. I used to say
Cinnamon.
cinnamon. I would just
Words
keep going.
with M's and N's. I couldn't say ominous for the longest time because I would always say omnibus.
No, mine was synonym, and everyone thought I was trying to say synonym, and I was like, no, I can say synonym. I want synonym, the spice, and they're like, the what? And I'm like, the synonym. I was like, the synonym challenge. And there was a girl I went to school with who couldn't say deodorant.
Oh.
And what else was it? I want to say she couldn't say like architecture, but I can't remember how she said it. I had a friend who had this one friend who she didn't have a speech impediment except on the word go. So we would have races and she would say ready, steady, do. But like any other word, like, you know, it was like she had a cold and her nose was blocked, so she would say do. And it was the only word that it happened on. And I was like, I don't understand how this has happened.
My sister can't say pretzel. She says prenzel.
Oh, there was a TikTok where this woman's daughter can't say purses. She says pusses. So like she was saying she was trying something on in a store and her daughter was with her husband and they were like, obviously there was like, I think it was like a charity shop, like a thrift store, and there was loads of bags. And her daughter's going like, Daddy, look at the pusses. Oh, they're pretty pusses. And everyone was like, Korean names because I can speak it. Yeah, like that's the thing. That's the thing that I've learned as well. Like since learning a little bit more French, and when I say I've learned a bit of Japanese, I literally mean I can count to 4 and say like hello, thank you, and excuse me. But like because I've kind of got an idea, because like I watch an arcade channel and they live in Japan, so like I hear them kind of speak a little a little Japanese. I have an idea of like how words, like what's the word, like the sort of flow of the words. So it's like sometimes I'll see a name and I'm like, I kind of know how I should say this, but my brain wants to make it English and it just gets really hard. And I think as well, like I find that a lot of bilingual people, like people who are actually fluent, tend to be more like, oh, but just switch. And I'm like, that's not easy. Like I know a lot of that bilingual people are like, it's not easy, but there are some who are like, oh, but just know it. And I'm like, I'm not that clever. I wish
I grew up with it though, because like my sister-in-law is from Gibraltar, and although they are British, they obviously speak Spanish at the same level. And she'll be having a full-on conversation with me, and then halfway through the conversation, she'll just switch into Spanish. She doesn't realise she's done it until my face goes completely blank, and she realises I haven't understood a single word she's saying.
I remember when I worked in a restaurant, and it was like mostly Polish people that worked there. So the waitresses, like the managers, and that were English. Well, I think one was English, one was Scottish. And there was like 3 or 4, like the kitchen staff and the waiters were Polish. And then obviously I'm Scottish. And it was one night where me and this girl were on, and the other girl, like, so there was 2 Polish girls on and me, and one of the Polish girls left, and we were just working away. And then one Polish girl, she just walked straight up to me and was just like going away at it. And it was like the first time someone properly tried to speak to me in a foreign language, and I must have looked terrified. She thought it was so funny. And I was genuinely like a deer in headlights, because it was that split second where I thought I had like jumped into a parallel world, because I was like, why do I not understand? And I was like, oh yeah, she's Polish. She's speaking Polish. But I was genuinely like, why do I suddenly not understand English? Oh. Love it. Not Dick. Yes, Dick. I come from a family of dicks.
Dick?
I'm not kidding. Yep. See, I think we started as Dixons and then went to Dickens and then went to Dickin, and then they thought, I mean, Dickin's not great either. Dickens, okay. Dickin? Like Isa Dickin? Just about as bad as Isa Dick. Yeah. Selfie. See,
Iconic.
Elfie's a nice name. Selfie? Questionable. Spaghetti. Yep. Okay, well, we do one more 20-minute sprint and then I'm going to crash. I've lasted longer than I thought I would, to be fair.
I actually have to bail out because my husband just got home.
Oh, good. Have you missed your
thank you
appointment?
for coming,
No.
Ali.
Yeah, I already missed my appointment, but
Oh, no. They should have postponed it for you. You've been like, oh, it's fine, just come in later. But yeah, you can pass the child over to him and then get some alone time.
he's just yelling things up the stairs and I can't even understand.
They're shouting you like, what are all these book things? They're overtold what now? But no, it was lovely to have you. Thank you for coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Ali.
There we go. I was like, it's just spinning.
And then there were 3.
Oh gosh, Born Before Selfies were invented. That's a shame because it would be actually a really nice name if selfies weren't a thing. What? Bye, Ali. Get dinner prepped. So yeah, we'll do a quick little last minute when I find where the fuck I put my timer thing.
Let's
I've
get
moved
it
on to
going,
another one, by the
lads.
way.
There we go. How much of your graphic novel have you got left?
I've got half of this one left to go.
Smashing it, Hannah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got all 3 done. That's the only disappointing thing.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in you. Like, you could have
I
done
know.
it.
I should have tried harder.
You really should have. You know, like, even if we'd sprinted this whole 2.5 hours, you couldn't have done it.
All right,
Maybe you could have, but
Rude.
maybe. Probably not.
let us go.
I've got 5 pages left.
Well, Robbie's still going, so you may as well finish. Okay, I finished first chapter of Hannah's. At that stage where I'm like, I don't really know what's going on yet, but I need more now. I'm like,
That's good. That's a good sign.
Fucking Kendall, I knew it. I called it. Fucking called it. And then I was like, I have to admit, I didn't expect it at the end. But I see it.
I see you.
Page 415, 142 in Mockingjay, 75 in Akatar. I started chapter 18 of my book that I need to review in like 2 weeks. And then someone was DMing me about sprints, and Ali messaged me, and I haven't even read that yet because of it was a reply. I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to set up a group chat on Twitter where it's exclusively where I just send the link and I'm like, the first 5 people that are free, you get in.
Do it.
Because I have a few different people that are like, oh, like, ask me anytime. Like, if I'm free, I'll be there. I'm like, then I feel like I have to go through and, like, ask people, are you free? And then if everyone's like, yes, I'm going to be like, sorry, already got people. And I pay in for premium just to get up to 10. So, we're going to end it there after the sprint. And then, obviously, Gav, Ashley, Becca, and Cody are doing sprints, which is why everyone disappeared at 9 o'clock. But Karis, Hannah didn't listen to Karis because Velma's busy. But Karis has made a supernatural quiz. She sends Hannah and I about 50 a day, but she's made one. And she was like, oh my God, do it. She was going to go to bed. And I was like, oh, I'll do it just now then during the sprint. She was like, oh my God, wait, no, do it on the live. So Hannah's done it. Yeah. I'm going to do it. There's fucking 21 questions, Karis. I'd like to go to bed soon too.
I think they're not like questions that you could read out because you have to pick an aesthetic. Yeah. What are you vibing with?
We're going to try and do this very quickly. Mood board for a certain beloved character. Genuinely, so if you don't know who it's about. I mean, honestly, could be Dean. Probably Dean. 2 of them aren't even fucking loaded, unless it's just supposed to be the text. I'm going with By Fury. Bad memories. Do not open. No, By Fury. I don't know. Like, this is too hard. Let's go with the trees and the road. There's going to be like no one else here that's into Supernatural. How I'm trying to be. Oh, I think Karis made half of this aesthetic with me in mind, like the rain and the Paris, well, the France and the but the art. Is that Taylor Swift? No, that's just a blonde girl with her back to me.
I mean, chances are it probably is.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a little softness. No.
How was your reading, Robbie?
Uh-oh. That says it all.
Literally, you know, like when you really feel seen on a page? It was like one of those kind of cries.
Aww.
And then it's really hard to read because you're like, I can't see. My eyes have gone blurry.
You're like, I need a minute.
Literally, but then I was like, but I want to know what happens next.
But to me, that is the best endorsement. If someone's like, oh yeah, this book made me cry, I'm like, cool, sign me up. It made me feel a thing. I want to feel something. Let's all feel something.
It's one of those things, like we spoke the other day, like it's so rare to see like plus size representation in a romantic sense. And like hearing these insecurities, like I'm that person, I have not been in a pool without a t-shirt on since the age of 12.
No.
And everyone's like this, why are you wearing a shirt? I was like, because I want to wear a shirt, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And that's lucky if you even get me in the pool. Because half the time I don't even like wearing the shirt because it clings to everything on the body anyway.
We go on holiday, you are coming in the pool with me and we're having a pool fight.
I'll be wearing a shirt, maybe a jacket.
I don't give a fuck what you wear as long as you're wearing something, except a mankini. More than a mankini.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. And then like he's had his first kiss, and then like the guy's like, obviously like when you're kissing someone you kind of just want to explore like pouts, and then like being a bigger sized person, you can hear him like trying to stop him like touching the parts of him he doesn't like people being touched. Like he can feel the t-shirt riding up and he's having to pull it down the whole. And I was just like, I can't deal with this right now.
Oh.
It doesn't happen in books. Like I made a discussion about this the other day, and all you really see in like specifically, I don't know because I've not read a ton of Sapphic. I've run a fair amount, but in Mel Mel, you only ever get 3 body types, which is average, skinny, or muscly. You
Yeah.
never get anyone who is slightly bigger or fat. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
don't see it, and it's such a shame.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really happy this has been translated. Like this is a Brazilian author, like, but people just don't talk about this, and it just makes me really sad.
Yeah. Oh, tell a secret.
This is just Karis creating a new video
Yeah.
for her channel.
Yeah. She's actually just punked us all. She's just collecting our secrets and she's going to out us.
It's going to be like a Pretty Little Secrets vibe.
Yeah. Love that.
Or Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Love that. Just like that. I think you're right though. Like I was reading in Ruin's Song, one of the main characters is plus size, and it's kind of done as a thing. She's like, look, when obviously historically being a bigger size was a sign that you had money and you ate well.
Yeah.
And they kind of like lean into that.
Basically,
But
we're successful bitches.
yeah, we would have survived way longer than others.
But that's the thing, it's still viewed that way in certain cultures in the world.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah.
know, for instance, like when I was in China, that's how it's viewed in China.
Yeah.
Same with like if you've got very pale skin, it's viewed as a sign of wealth.
Yeah.
But it's just very Western cultures. It's such a stigma
Yeah.
to be bigger. Like for instance, like one of the girls, she's not the main character. This store she goes into, they're promoting a plus size range. She was like this, but yet the biggest size they have is a size 14.
Yeah.
That's not a plus size range.
No.
Like,
but
it's
so many shops, like you go to Blue Water and that is exactly the same issue. I went shopping, we had to get some like dresses for someone's wedding. I went in every single shop in Blue Water, which is just this massive like shopping centre, and they didn't have anything over a size 12. Like even they had one plus size shop, which is Evans, and everything started at size 18 and went up. And I was like, what about everyone that's in between? Like, where's
my
that?
mum said that. I remember my mum used to drag us around when I was younger, and that's the only shop she'd go into, and she had the same problem. It's the in between, and I don't know what it is because I looked it up. The average size for a woman in the UK is a 14/16. That
Yeah.
is the average size. Yet we have an abundance of size 4. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to shame anyone for being too skinny, but that's not a size to promote because it's not the idealistic size someone should be. And it's just like, if you can promote one end of that spectrum, why can't you promote the other end?
Yeah.
I hate it because I remember there was a little girl that I used to teach dance to, and she was 11, and she was bigger, and everyone used to make the same comments to her, going, "Oh my god, why are you such a great dancer? Like, and you're big." And then literally, her older sister had to go, "Did you ever even think to know why she was big? She actually has a thyroid issue. She'll never be skinny. Like, it's nothing to do with food or things like that." And I've mentioned it to Emma before. So me being someone in like the theatre world, I don't give a crap. I can outdance anybody in a room. I will go to the front. I do it all, and then literally, I always get the same comments from people going, "Oh my god, I didn't know you could dance that well." I was like, "What do you mean?" They went, "Well, you know, being the size that you are, I just thought you'd be like more of a singer." I was like, "You do realize that's not a compliment, right?" And just it really irks me so much.
Yeah, it's for me, it's just I just think part of it's a threat because it's the idea that how dare you be confident in your own body and your own ability to do stuff. Like that intimidates people. And I know like I have real issues with my body and they have got worse since lockdown because my body shape has changed since lockdown and things like that. Like I used to be able to go to the gym regularly. So even if I've never necessarily like I was really skinny as a ballerina and then I swapped from ballet to rugby and I got muscle and I was still quite slim, but I was stocky. And then I quit rugby and I ballooned. And that was a really hard thing for me to deal with. I then went back to rugby, went to the gym often and kind of like toned up, but I've never been the 10 that I was, like the size 10 that I was as a teenager. And it's really hard. Like, I was scrolling through photos to find that Velma photo earlier, and just my entire Facebook up until about 6 years ago is size 12 Hannah. And I'm just like, I've got to scroll through all of that to get to, so it is really, really hard. And I'm doing that to myself, let alone when you read books where characters are calorie counting, or like I'm rereading Meg Cabot's, like all of Meg Cabot's books, and I started with Size 12 is Not Fat, which is the murder mystery Heather Wells series. That series, I can only assume that Meg Cabot was told to like make it relatable to teenagers, because the fact that the title and the main character is obsessed with her weight, that is the only reason it's in there. The rest of it is just a murder mystery. And if you can ignore those moments where she's like, oh, I decided to have like 3 coffees and a hot chocolate, like 3 cakes or whatever it is, if you could just ignore that, the rest of the story is fine. It didn't need to be there. And I feel like that is the case for so many books where they comment on size and you just don't need to. And it just, yeah. So I have a real bugbear about it anyway. But it makes it really hard. So like I've told people before, like I really struggle to take photos of myself. I don't like taking full length photos of myself. And when Keris was like, oh, have you got an unedited photo that I can use for a thumbnail? No, I have nothing. Like, I can give you a photo from 10 years ago though, where I look great. Does that help?
I'm exactly the same. Like the way I make sure my camera was angled, like it will never come like below here.
Mm.
Like all my videos, if I notice anything in my video, no matter how great the content is, if it goes below there, I cut it.
Yeah.
Actually, and it's such a shame because I don't feel like people. Literally, if that happens to me in one of my videos, I'll cut it. Even in this live stream, you probably notice anytime it's happened, I start doing this.
But see, do you know what? It is quite funny because like I'll see it in vlogs and stuff. I'll be like that a lot. But then I'm also the type of person that's like, if I get my chin out, I don't care. Like I'm aware it's here. Like this exists and it's fine. But I will, like, I'll be standing and I'll be like trying to like frame, and I'm like, it's a habit from like years ago, and I'll see it. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, you literally put videos and pictures of you on the internet. Like, why are you like hiding? Do you know? It's not that I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed. It's just like
it's a habit thing, yeah. And I think even just the self-deprecating stuff is a habit, and that is I put it in my my goals for this year. I just want to walk away from 2021 just a little bit more confident about my shape, and just
like, for me,
the shape's not going to change. My mentality is kind of
and stuff. Like the self-deprecating thing, like that definitely started when I was about like 18, going to drama school, and I was like, if I just play it up and I'm the funny fat friend type thing, no one else can make fun of me. And then I got to a point a few years ago where I was like, not that I enjoy making fun of myself, but I was like, well, it's actually made me more confident because like I'm very quick to go, well, whatever. And I found that if I'm talking to other people, like I'll be talking to people who are a lot slimmer than me, and they'll be like, oh, well, I might double chin. I'm like, what, like that? And you can kind of see them relax because they feel like, oh, well, I can kind of like, they'll kind of say like, oh, and I'm like, you know, we can have this conversation, like it's fine. But it is something like, it definitely started out as being like, oh, like this is a defense, and whereas now I'm just like, yeah, it still kind of is. Like, it's always going to be that way where I'm like, well, you can't make fun of me because I'm doing it. But it is something that for me is now just like, I mean, well, we all know that I'm just fucking chaotic as it is. So, but yeah, like it took me so long to just be at a point where like I'm like, I guess there was a time where I would kind of be like, oh, well, if people see it, then whatever. Whereas now I'm just like, I'll put it out there. Like, do you know, like when that TikTok dance was popular, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And like I'm kind of like that now. I'm like, do you know what? I'm like, life is just too short to be like, not like, I know it's easy to be like, oh, it's too short to like to be worried. Like, it's one of those things where I think once I want to say like when something clicks, like I feel like eventually just something gets into you, and you, I guess something like for me, it just finally, like I finally understood that life is short. Don't let them get to you, and like somehow it just can happen. And I hate it because I've like, you know, obviously you never want to say, well, oh, just don't worry about it, because that's never going to happen. But then people were like, oh, well, how do you get confident now? And I'm like, I don't know. Somehow my mentality changed. I don't know if I faked it until it happened. I can't tell you how to do it. But, oh.
No, I feel like I'm one of those people. I get to a point where I'm really good with like who I am and what my body is, until someone else then tries to define my body. And it's normally people that you don't expect to do it, like
Yeah.
parent. Like my relatives always comment on my weight. Like I'm literally, it's why I don't want to eat with them. Like if and like there's a mention in this about this. Like he's just gone to the cinema to get some popcorn, and there's such stigma. If you get a small one, you know people in their head they're subconsciously going, "Who the fuck are you kidding? Like you're not going to eat a small, being that size." But yet if you get a large, they're going to be like, "Don't you think you should cut back a bit because you're fat?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm really funny with like the sodas I drink. Obviously, I only really like Iron Brew, but draft Iron Brew can be nasty. So when I go to McDonald's, I get a Diet Coke because I don't really like Coke, but Diet Coke tastes nice. And I can see people are like, you're getting a large Big Mac meal and chicken nuggets, but you're getting a Diet Coke, and I'm like, it's not the same thing. Like I'm not doing it because Diet Coke is healthy. Like
Do you know what it always reminds me of that film that everyone gets that from, A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff. There's the scene in the diner with the guy. He's like, I want like a double burger meal, large fries, a side of onion rings, and I want a Diet Coke. I'm watching my weight. And then I don't know why people just feel that's a thing. I'm the same, Emma. I get zero and diet drinks not because I'm like I want to be healthy. I just personally prefer the taste.
Yeah, but like it is just that like my gran, what was it she said a couple of weeks ago? She said something like, Emma, she was like, oh, I'm getting very concerned about your weight, and I was like, we're in a fucking global pandemic, fuck off. And then it was like I actually
I'm laughing just because of that comment alone.
But like I went and weighed myself, and I was like, bitch, I've lost half a fucking stone. And it's like I like obviously I've got a chronic illness, and like I remember when because like, they took weight and blood pressure before I saw the rheumatologist, and I was like, oh, here we go. And they said nothing, and like even the rheumatologist was like, okay, like potentially if you lose weight, it's not going to be as much strain on certain joints. He's like, but you know, you've got pain in your shoulder. He was like, it's like I've got big thighs, big hips, big belly. My boobs are getting a bit smaller, but like I'm not like particularly like broad shoulders. Like my ankles, my wrists are thin. And the guy, the rheumatologist said that. He's like, do you go about doing handstands? No. So your weight's not affecting your wrists, is it? He's like, you're just in pain because you have a chronic illness. And I was like, thank you. And it's just like, I was always a fat kid, right? Like I was what was I when I was born? Like 8 pounds or something. Like not overly massive, but a big baby. And you're supposed to lose weight before you leave the hospital. I gained weight. And then I didn't sleep until I was 3 years old. I cried constantly all night. My mom would be like, here's a bottle. And I would take, well, she would make 8 ounces and I would have like 6 ounces because people kept saying that to her. People were like, oh, just give her more milk. And she's like, she's not taking all of it though, so she doesn't need more. It's because I have the fucking dislocated hip and I was in agony. But it's like I was always big. And then when I got to like maybe about 13, 14, I absolutely had an undiagnosed eating disorder. Like the disordered eating that I had was ridiculous. I ended up like, I wasn't like anorexic, but I was way smaller than I am now. Thought I was fucking huge. Like I look at, like I thought, see, it's funny. I thought I was probably about the size I am now. Actually, probably bigger when I was like 14. Whereas like now, I feel like I look at I feel myself, I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably about that same size. And I look at photos and I'm like, oh no, you were really skinny. But it's just like, oh, I don't know, I've lost my train of thought now, but it's just, like, I think people forget as well, like, some people, like, I actually did 23andMe, and I am more, like, my genes, I am predisposed to weighing more, and like my metabolism is slower. So like there's genetic factors, illness, like medical factors, and it's just like people are just so quick to be like,
half of it is projection though. So like for me, my biggest critique is my mom. Like she doesn't mean to. And like there's a story in Fat Lip which is basically This Be the Verse, which is based on the Philip Larkin poem, This Be the Verse. And literally the first line of that is, they fuck us up, our mum and dad, they don't mean to, but they do. And fundamentally, my mum said something to me about my weight, and it has stuck with me for 15 years. Anytime I go to the gym, I get in the shower, it's what I hear. And it means that anytime she makes a little comment now that's remotely to do with my fitness or my weight or whatever, it hurts, and it's almost like, yeah, it's this trigger point where I'm just like, I immediately get on the defensive with her in particular. So she made a comment the other day. So I'm part of like a business network, and we've got a nutritionist who's just joined, and she wants to speak to people that aren't necessarily like trying to lose weight, but maybe want to eat more nutritionally, want to kind of combat all the stuff that's going to be awful, like during lockdown, like avoiding eating easier foods, creating like a diet for you that's actually benefiting you, all these different things. And I was telling my mum about it, and I was saying that, like, you know, she does all kinds of things. I was like, I might speak to her about it. Mum was like, oh, you should. And you should see if she does any, like, PT stuff as well. And I was just like,
No. I remember
why?
I must be about 8. And I remember this so well. Now, it's so funny because one of the things that they ask you in autism assessment is like, oh, do you understand like metaphors and stuff and like phrases? And I was like, what? And he was like, oh, like heart on your sleeve. Like, do you know what that means? And I was like, well, you know, I've heard that phrase often enough that I understand it. But I was 8 years old. And I remember being so upset because I was standing and my mum asked me, like, I think I asked her to help me with something. And she turned around and she went, you're big enough and ugly enough to do it yourself. Which is a phrase that 8-year-old me didn't know. And when I'm fat, I'm ugly, my mum doesn't want to help me because of that. And like afterwards, she was like, oh, it's just a phrase. And I think even my dad was like, she's fucking 8. She's not going to know what that means. Like, but that is still like stuck with me. And I do still think that. I'm like, do you know, the fact that I was 8 years old and that someone saying that would upset, like, do you know, we shouldn't be 8 years old and someone being like, oh, you're big, and you going, oh, I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm whatever. Do you know, like, it should have just been something where I was like, what do you mean? But like, there was a video going around of like a 4-year-old, this little girl, she was getting her braids done by her mum, and she was like looking in the mirror and she was like, oh, I'm ugly. And her mum was like, don't say that. Like, don't say that. Like, you're pretty. Like, you're not supposed to do that. And she was like, kept going on, like, you know, you look in the mirror, you say you're pretty. And this little girl, literally 4 years old, burst into tears because someone told her she was pretty. And I was like, why are we living in a world where we let anyone, like, I don't get it.
We need to move on because it's affecting Rosie. So,
oh, yeah. We're done
sorry
now.
about that, Rosie.
Sorry, Rosie.
But having just said all that, I'm going to go have my dinner.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm like, the chat.
Enjoy your vagina.
Vagina. Yeah. Going to go eat some vagina.
I'm going
You
to
heard it here first.
head over to Gavin, Becca, and Cody and Ashley's live for like probably 5 minutes. If they're starting a sprint, I'll be like, no, I'm going to watch Supernatural. Yeah.
I don't come here to read.
And thank you to Ali for joining earlier, even though she's not here now.
Thank you, Ali.
And yeah, I don't think there'll be sneaky sprints this week because I am tired. So I'm going to try and just chill this week. And they're reading till 30. VP Rosie has me. Rosie has got me. I like how I was like, VP Rosie. I got you. So yeah.
You're just in such a habit now of just being VP.
It was I would have kept doing it, but as they reminded me, this is their boyfriend's initials, which is a bit like, I don't know how I would feel being referred to by a partner's initials. Like, it's bad enough, the whole like taking the man's surname situation. So, but yeah. No, thank you for joining. And Robbie, I will let you know when I am caught up. I was at page 186 and I did intend to catch up, but then Hannah called me out for not catching up on her chapter. So
fine, I've
it
got.
Was just a joke. I didn't expect you to actually be like, all right.
Yeah, no,
then.
And then obviously yesterday, Max made me listen to him reading the first 2 chapters of his book. It's fine.
Fine. I've got 27 pages left of this, and then I'm going to go on to my other buddy read that I was meant to start yesterday. Of the House of Australian Sea.
Oh, see, I wish Joe has got his copy from his library because he and I are going to buddy read it, but then I already have enough on this TBR. So, but yes, thank you for the live. Oh, thank you, Frog.
Thanks, Frog.
I was going to say, I hope my channel doesn't disappoint you, but like everything's this chaotic. Like, I don't understand these people when you watch them do a live, and I'm like, you're so different in person. Like, because like it's typically just because they're more nervous, but I'm just like, nah, this is me. Ain't got the energy. Ain't got the energy.
At least you aren't like mis-selling yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
The next live sprint is going to be called chats with friends with the occasional break. Oh,
Reading
Joe!
break.
Literally, it was like, I wish Joe, and he's like, hello, yes, you called?
Oh my god, it's Joe. Hi, Joe.
In the right place, Frog. You're gonna change a bit. Ooh,
I'm gonna do to your bookshelf.
you're gonna change them. Not like reorganize. They're gonna change the bookshelves. That sounds intense. Yeah, I'm waiting on Joe somehow. This is the most amazing thing, right? No one has been able to get House in the Cerulean Sea in the UK for like months now. Like people keep checking, it's out of stock everywhere. And then I get this random package. They're like, oh, this will be my book that I ordered. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, Joe, how the fuck did you get this? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, it was on your wish list. I was like, yeah, it's not been in stock for months. He was like, oh well, I went on and I got it. So somehow,
Yeah, I was the same. It was gifted to me for Christmas, and I was like, how did you get this? It's out of stock
yeah,
everywhere.
and like part of me, because like obviously I say I'm waiting on Joe getting it in his library so we can buddy read, and I'm like, it feels illegal to not be reading this immediately because I feel like if people know I have it, they're going to be like, how dare you? And it's like,
Honestly, it's one of those books you don't hear anyone give it less than 5 stars. Like,
but the thing is, Joe and I have had like, if you think I have a bad buddy read track with you two, Joe and I. One, we tried to buddy read Little Women with a couple other people, and I didn't even like fucking start it. Like I just basically read one page and I'm over it.
You're not missing out.
But I think I know for a fact Joe and I read No Hypnotic. I really liked it. He did not. I think there was something else we read that I liked and he didn't, or he liked and I didn't. Like we've never liked a book. So this feels like the book that we're both going to like. But as he points out, libraries are shut. So
sorry.
might be a if they're not open by February, I might end up reading it and being like, we'll reread together, or I'll read it and then send it to Joe.
Pass it around.
I do sometimes do my sneaky sprints, but as I said, I am tired. So, I mean, I might get an energy boost in the morning. Like, we love chronic illness. Like, do we understand when we're going to be massively fatigued? No, we just have to take it. So we'll see. I do. It should be linked in my description, although I don't know if my live streams come with my automatic uploads, but it's Emma Novella with an X at the end. So basically this, but with an X. But I haven't really posted much, but I want to. But yeah, you can find me there. You can DM me. We can chat. We can do whatever.
Mine's the same as mine's Anna's No Stuck on a Book on Instagram.
Yeah, mine's that.
Cool. So it's just mine.
It's
that's
just
different.
Velma.
Yeah, just look up Velma. You'll find me pretty quick.
As Joe has pointed out, Solway was our only successful buddy read. I missed that day so much. Like the 30th of December, fucking hell, that was 2019.
What's Solway?
It's Lupita Nyong'o's picture book.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that an acronym for something that I don't know?
It's about I can't remember exactly, but it's like this little girl that, like I think she learns to like appreciate that she's beautiful for like who she is. But yeah, we had a great day. He was in Edinburgh, he ditched his parents. We went to Waterstones, we went to Armchair Books. We had a chaotic time. Every time I remind myself of it, I just remember standing at the sale. He forced me to get the Black Flamingo. It was my first read of 2020. And we were in hysterics over a mug. I don't know why it was funny. It was one of those situations where we were laughing at something else. And then he was like, Joe was trying to tell me something. He's like, oh, I got... And then he was like, a mug. And it was just one of those situations where we thought it was hilarious. And to this day, we don't know why it was funny, but it's now just funny. And I also think that was the day Joe told me he'd got me a tote bag for Christmas or my birthday, either one of them, and it hadn't arrived. So he was going to give it to me at BookCon, and then 2020 happened. So that never happened.
Well, I'm going to go to BookCon whenever it happens. I don't care about the money. I just need to go out in the world.
I'm saving all my money for Yalk because BookCon.
I'm doing both. Literally, like I've lost out in 2020, so I need both experiences in my life.
I'll go just because I get the chance to get a cheaper hotel room if you're sharing with shitloads of people. But still kind of more expensive because it's summer and prices are higher. But like just to go and see people is what I would go back for.
No,
I will
definitely
get
out.
the train up because I live just about close enough that I can get home afterwards.
Yes, Hannah, come to York.
I bought tickets to go in 2020, but obviously then it got postponed. So
Yeah, and then we're having York 2020 and 2021.
yeah, can't wait. I'll be there.
My mum made a good point, right? That the year 2020, right, has 20 and 20, well, 20 and 21 has 20 and 21. So rather than it being like, oh, Yalk 2020, Yalk 2021, just, you know how they used to be like, oh, it's 89. So they'd have like apostrophe 89 and miss out the 19. Like, just miss out the 20. And so you could have it's Yalk 20 and Yalk 21 for 2021.
Yeah.
Bye, Joe.
Right,
just
I'm gonna get
anyway.
so I will catch you guys later.
Vaginas.
Enjoy your vagina.
Thanks.
Bye. And we're going off too, guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. All people's details are below. Hannah has a subscription box for her book thingy. I'm losing the will to live. So it has been wonderful as usual. I've streamed way longer than I planned to tonight, but
Bye, Rosie.
at least I feel better than I did. Like I felt like I was dying when I started, but I'm alive now.
You look great.
Oh, I didn't feel it earlier. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here. If you're still here, and if you're missing sprints, as I say, I think it's on Becca's channel that Gavin and Becca and Ashley and Cody are sprinting, and they'll probably go for a while. So go there.